Welcome to the final day of LCQ here at VCT Game Changers APAC. Mika Fabs here with Dax with a very colorful shirt here. I love the flamingos, Dax. I remember you picking that out.
Yeah, you know it. It's just look. I am enough today, Mika, and I'm just very happy to be bringing a bit of energy here, especially as today is gonna be an incredible day. We already have one team into Elite from the LCQ, and from the 3 teams we have here, we're gonna be getting another.
Yes, you are enough indeed. Hi, Dax.
Hi, Hi Mika.
I love that. I love that energy. It's the right kind of energy to bring here on this final day. It's the final chance for 3 teams to battle it out for that one remaining slot to Elite. So it's going to be very exciting, as Dax mentioned. Yesterday, we saw MLT Esports in fantastic form, and they're the first team to qualify for Elite. Who is going with them? Will it be Neons? Will it be the Hero KDA? Or will it be NYX Kyosei? Dax, do you have any guesses so far today?
This is gonna be so tough, Mika. Honestly, from yesterday's games, especially that I was able to witness them firsthand, I really feel like NYX Kyosei is the most impressive team that we've seen in terms of their performance. Utter dominance versus Deviant Topaz, something we didn't expect given, of course, the pedigree of Deviant Topaz themselves. And honestly, it's more so that the Hero KDA was the one struggling to find their footing, even though they were the first seed coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that they were the favorite on a lot of people's lists. I think, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this time around it's working too well for them. And plus, you have last minute teams like MLT and Neons kind of like ruining their plans, I suppose, right? But one last look at our Game Changers roadmap here. We had 3 opens so far, and we've only got this last chance qualifier to go before we head on over to Elite. Again, we only have 2 slots from this last chance qualifier for these teams to make it to Elite, and MLT already took the first one yesterday. Today, we're gonna find out from these 3 remaining teams who will be taking that second slot. It is that much closer to Elite, that much closer as well to Game Changers champions at the very end of the year. And Dax, I would say that with all of the teams that we've seen so far here, I think it's not so much for this last chance qualifier. It's not so much for I would say the teams, but more of individual players that have really made a mark on it.
It just goes to show, right, that sure we have these teams now who have come in to the LCQ. Yeah, Be My Team, Bot, Even Topaz, MLT, Nan and Friends, Neon, NYX Kyosei, and the Hero KDA. But I agree with you, Mika, because from what we've seen so far, certain players have stepped up to bring their squads to Elite. Some of these teams, they struggled to even make it to the open playoffs in our previous tournaments. MLT, our first team that is going to Elite, was an absolutely new squad formed just for LCQ. And off the top of my head, I remember K4Dite, who has been absolutely incredible. Yesterday from NYX, maybe Piety, someone to watch out for. There's just so many names right now that will look to contend with the greats that we have already set for Elite.
That's right, to contend with Team SMG, right? Orangutan, X, Full Sense, Sapphire, RRQ, Kaguya, Scythe, NWJ, and Global Esports Phoenix. And those 2 slots over there, we can already add MLT's logo, as you mentioned, Dax, over there, right in front. But yes, I mean, I think that, for this LCQ, we do see, I sense a little bit of the bias, of course, between you and me, Dax, for NYX Kyosei, of course.
Ooh.
I mean, undeniable. And I think that also, as you mentioned, they were indeed a powerhouse. I wonder if Hero KDA, if they can, muster up that heroism just for today to be able to clutch that out, or Neons. Neons, I think, is a real wild card in this LCQ, especially since we know how steamrolly they can get. And we know that they're a team that, if you hand them just a little bit, you hand them, just a little bit of a morsel, they will take an arm and a leg with it. So I think we have 3 teams here that have 3 very different dynamics.
Yeah, there's so many stylistic differences that we can see so far. And one thing I noticed is the prize pool, second place also. Since you're only going for the qualifier anyway, you will get the same pricing and you will get that Elite slot. But already, guys, we have our bracket set. And to continue on the story of the lower bracket from yesterday, it will be the Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei, who did beat Nana and Friends and Deviant Topaz. And Mika, I get why we're on the NYX train right now. It was a logo battle between Nana and Friends and NYX.
Yeah.
And now NYX is the only one still standing. Neos, of course, awaiting them. And truthfully, this is looking to be such a gauntlet for whoever wins this first series.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't deny logos like those. Part of you kind of just wants to see like a logo like that, make it all the way up to like a big stage, right? Because like you just kind of you want to cheer this doggo on, of course. But as we can see from
That's a
today's
name.
schedule,
It has a name.
Fifi,
Yeah,
Fifi, right?
Fifi Bob.
Fifi. Wait, who does Fifi belong to?
Ah,
Who is Fifi's human?
I can't remember. I think I remember seeing Fifi on Twitter, but I can't remember who owns it. Oh, it's okay.
I'm
He
gonna
owns
find it
all
out.
our hearts, Fifi.
We are all Fifi's humans now. We've all been invited to become a part of Fifi's family just by having Fifi here.
Dude, I'm gonna make the Fifi fan club. Okay, it's gonna happen.
It has to. I feel like and especially since like Raph yesterday brought up Mochi. I mean,
I have
there is an audience for it.
I have cats in the room right now, but if you want me to like bring out a dog every single map, I guess I can. I'm just gonna need the time to do it, Mika. Just like, here's the dog swap. Here's another one. Here we go. There you go.
Are you challenging me to challenge you to bring out a dog?
Maybe. I mean, it's gonna be.
What is this? What is going on?
Look, I think today I'm gonna be able to bring out a lot of dogs if ever, because with the series that we have upcoming, I wouldn't be surprised to see these games go the distance, Mika, especially at how tight-knit the competition has been in the LCQ.
Oh yeah, and as you guys saw in the schedule, we have the Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei Fifi first up, and then one of those teams are going straight into a best of 5 to face Neons. So it's gonna be a marathon indeed for one of these teams, right? And that's the true test of endurance. How bad do you want this final slot, right? And that's I guess that's sort of like a little bit of a penalty as well from the lowers, right? You do have this whole gauntlet to run for today. One of these teams could be playing 8 straight games of Valorant, high competition Valorant today. That's gonna be so exhausting.
I can already feel the tired from here, and you're absolutely right, Mika, because the fact that these are the final few teams that we have here, they were incredible runs over the past few days. There were incredible teams making moments, but in the end, it's the consistency that has brought Neons, of course, who's awaiting them in lower bracket finals, the Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei to this level. And as of right now, given the fact that we have this upcoming Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei matchup, which is interestingly enough almost full of Filipino players, so that's good for us on the panel side. It's just that familiarity, perhaps the know-how from how these teams have been playing all throughout the year, that might be able to give the edge to one of these teams.
Yeah, it's also the synergy that they have, right? Because it is a factor in a lot of teams, right? The comms, how comfortable are you, especially in a high pressure situation. Of course, the Hero KDA, they are a mixed roster, right? They do have very experienced, very veteran players, of course, but it still is a factor. We've seen it in so many rosters happen. And again, Hero KDA, I would have called them the favorites of this LCQ, but they do have a chance to survive this lower bracket run today. And if anybody can make it through a marathon, the gauntlet of a potential full 8 games, it's probably these guys.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at the Hero KDA, Olulu, of course, would be that torchbearer. So clutch. The emotions from yesterday just to bring out the victory on Split and take that series. But on the other hand, Mika, NYX Kyosei, it was a very different story. What started to be a struggle on Haven became the utter domination from the second half into the second map. I'm looking back at the stats, and if I remember correctly, ever since they started off that second half on Haven, they only dropped a total of 5 rounds to finish off the series. Some of the biggest streaks we've seen so far in this tournament, some of the most dominant plays, especially courtesy of someone like Gon. NYX Kyosei, they changed the script suddenly and became the powerhouses moving forward.
There's something about this roster, right? There's something about this roster, and it's that X factor, that clutch factor as well for a lot of players. Those unpredictable moments that players of this caliber can pull out, those are the things that you can't ever prepare for. You can study a team as much as you want, you can have all of the strategies that you want laid out, but sometimes when it's like somebody has that ability to pull out a sudden 1v3 or a 1v4 or somehow gets this brilliant genius angle that suddenly turns around. Those are the things that, like, no matter how hard you prepare, it just boils down to game sense. It boils down to their instinct, right? And that's the X factor I think that NYX Kyosei have, because they have this kind of like bravery in a sense, and they have this ingenuity that allows them to make plays like that.
And there's just purpose to their madness, basically. And sometimes they still get value even in desperate scenarios. I was able to cast these two teams, quite literally yesterday. And one thing I noticed compared between NYX Kyosei as well as the Hero KDA, the confidence was skyrocketing for NYX Kyosei as they moved on round per round. They didn't let that first half really shake them when Deviant Topaz had that Bind 3 standing against them. And suddenly it was just them winning every critical clutch scenario, every critical clash, and just duel after duel they would take the dub. On the other hand, for the Hero KDA, I think that's the biggest mystery we have right now. Ever since they lost against Neon's Mika, it felt like they had something to prove in those clutch situations. It felt like it was the beginning of the end when it came to split, but just again, Olulu with the absolute moment. She's the shot caller, she's the clutch player, and she really stepped up for the team. I feel like she's gonna be setting that example moving forward, not just in terms of the performance, but that mental reset given that it's another day.
I like what you mentioned about NYX Kyosei having that, those clutch, those critical moments, because I do know that, like, not a lot of teams here, at least in LCQ, have that, have that conversion. Like, even if the numbers are down, they're still able to keep their calm, and they're still able to find ways to pull things, out of their bags, right? I think that these two players over here that we have for these teams, Strawberry Bagel and somebody, are also two of these players that are able to do that. Even if you have the numbers advantage, you have to watch out for these two. I'm a big fan of the player formerly known as Capricious, of course, but Bagel was also pretty nasty yesterday with the cheeky positioning and the Odin sprays. I mean, how could you not notice that, right?
If I remember correctly, also, there was just that moment, especially on Split, that she was asleep the whole series, came online, and gave the Hero KDA that clutch to make it to overtime. You can honestly feel the impact when these two players are struggling. You can feel the impact when these two players are having such a great day. And I feel like right now, looking into this matchup, if one of these two players does struggle, it's going to be very apparent, and the other team will take advantage. So Body, of course, so flexible, playing even the front line when she wants to bring out that Neon, if ever. Strawberry Bagel, that reliable anchor who can find angles later on.
And now we have our map select. We are going into Haven, we're going into Bind, and we're going into Fracture. Now, previously when they met up, I believe it was Ascent, Fracture, and Bind. So we're switching out Ascent for Haven. And, I can kind of see why, because it got pretty dicey. But these two teams, I think, like, they have different they have different dynamics here. But it's like a pendulum, It could snowball in one side and it could snowball on the other. The last time that we saw them, like, for example, on Bind, we thought it was, sealed for the Hero KDA. Suddenly, you see NYX Kyosei pull out a few rounds. It could just swing any which way.
I'm very interested about that last map, because Fracture is something that Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei did play in back on the Swiss stage. It was a 13-5 in favor of the Hero KDA. So if we go the distance, it perhaps might be the advantage for the Hero KDA, because looking at the maps themselves, first map pick, second map pick, I completely expect the teams that pick the map to actually take them. Funny enough, for a majority Filipino team, NYX Kyosei, or rather the Hero KDA, have shown struggles on Haven. NYX Kyosei, yesterday you saw the rally. We were there witness to such a big streak. And just to count it real quick while we're waiting, I think that was how many rounds in a row? Around 9 in a row or something like that. 8 or 9. And it just goes to show that once NYX Kyosei gets the momentum, they know the angle so well on that first map.
Yeah, you make a good point about Haven. Usually performing well for a lot of Filipino teams, right? It seems to be very popular in our region. But a question mark here for NYX Kyosei. Perhaps it's something that could be that they have something prepared for today, especially against the Hero KDA. I don't know. For this match in particular, I honestly don't know where this is going to go, especially since it's come so close in the past.
I feel it's the ultimate 50-50 right now. Both teams have such a good case for themselves for their respective map picks. Both teams have shown how strong they've been all throughout this tournament. And as of right now, it just needs to be such a wake-up call for both the Hero KDA and NYX USA. For NYX, it's about that standard that they set yesterday. The unbelievable dominance that we got from the likes of Kon, the likes of Sabadi. You can even add in Shuni. When you looked at that middle line, they were just winning 1v2s again and again. And on the other hand, Hero KDA, they just need that wake-up call. Icing, of course, is one to watch out for. When I see her put herself in predicaments, you know that there's always a method of escape. There's always going to be that method wherein the whole Hero KDA team can pivot off that. And I'm watching out, of course, Hannah has been some of the sharpest shots in this server. Lulu, same again. It's the same old story from the clutch. It just needs to be you wake up so quickly on into the series, because the early lead will define how these games will go.
Yeah, speaking of Hannah and like, for example, players like Kon, I'm really interested because both of these teams do tend to run the double initiator on Haven. No surprises there, but how crucial, or like how well are these players feeling today, to be able to set their teams up for success, right? We know that these players can be can turn the tables for their teams, right? And I think that, like, especially like, for example, Kon and Hannah, as you mentioned, my eyes are going to be on these two players in particular, especially on Haven, especially those first few rounds when you really need to get that momentum in your favor to be able to get the ball rolling. It's the first match, it's the first map of the day too.
I think it's insane that even they're playing the initiator. I remember moments where Kon's just like, I'm gonna go for the dart, and then suddenly I can actually win this. I can go for that kind of fight. And then conversely, Hannah, there was that one time yesterday where she went for a rolling thunder play and still got away with it. Like, she backed off at a moment's notice, popped her ultimate, and it was just, okay, I can actually play off this. Those small critical decisions are what will bring one of these teams to the lower bracket finals, and I'm really excited to see who can get the edge.
I think everybody's excited right now. Again, it's our final day here at LCQ, so we can't wait to kick things off. We are going to take a very short break, but when we return, we're going to go straight into Haven with the Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei.
bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. I hope that break was as entertaining for you as it was for all of us behind the scenes. But we are just about ready to get into the game. We are going to see NYX Kyosei versus the Hero KDA going into map number 1, which will be Haven. And Dax, we were talking about this. It could be, this could be like a pendulum, you know? It could swing one way for the first half. It could swing the other way for the second.
And I'm expecting it to swing one way the first map, and the other way onto the second. Again, it's just been that kind of game that moving forward, previewing into it, it just feels like it's so 50-50 from what we've seen so far. The ascension of NYX Kyosei, the humbling early, and how the Hero KDA has been looked mortal from the past few series that we've seen from them. But in the end, both are here and both are willing to play just for that lower bracket final slot. And I think something we were discussing before we went into the break, Mika, is some of those crucial players, those critical, I'd say, key agents that these two teams will need to have performing today just so they can get the edge. And one thing we saw, of course, was on their head-to-head, Bagel and the player formerly known as Capricious, somebody with a 1 that I had to explain to Quack yesterday how it made sense, funny enough. It just feels like you know when someone is performing so well between both NYX Kyosei as well as Hero KDA. And if they really want to make it too elite, then they have to be elites.
Okay, I have to pull on that thread.
Yeah.
You had to explain yesterday to Quack how somebody with a 1
Yeah, so I was
sense.
like, you guys remember those old Nokia phones where you see it on your keypad during emergency calls? It's just like, okay, you substitute the letters rather, into numbers.
Explain to the kids how we used to do it back in the day.
Back in my day, with my back hurting, text messages could only hold so many characters, and if you wanted to use shorthand for some of them, you would use numbers. And one of it, so to spell somebody with a 1, it's like BD1. So if you guys want to be text mates, you already know how I'm gonna be putting those numbers down.
But then what's the 1?
Ay.
No, it's not.
Hello?
What?
Hello?
Wait, I'm so confused.
Hello? I mean, the one is an
Oh,
I.
it's like text. It's like the text speak. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
text
not
speak,
actually like the alphanumeric thing.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No,
I
like,
confused
the
myself
number
there.
one. So the number one looks like a letter I, Mika. I thought you were older than me. How do you not
I
understand
was
this?
referencing something far older,
okay,
which is
I'm
like
sorry.
the alphanumeric
No,
keyboard.
no,
So it's like, hey,
I'm
I
sorry.
have Wingman here supporting my lumbar, so
He's right here.
Just like yes, the back pains.
Wingman took a nap.
Them.
Look at that. His kumot is still there. His little blanket is
Aww.
just. He has a little bed on the shelf, and he wakes up when it's time for incredible games. And come on, Game Changers Elite is up for grabs. You know that the teams here at LCQ are playing their hearts out. They've been playing all year, Mika, to be at this moment. And sure, they didn't qualify through the points through the open tournaments, but they know that this is their last chance, and today is our final day. So one of these teams, they're bound for greatness.
That's right, and right now we are stepping into Haven with our Agent Select, and I don't think we're seeing any surprises from both of these teams. They usually run these kinds of competitions. As I was saying earlier, again, I'm going to be looking at Pawn, I'm going to be looking at Hana for this, especially since they're both on that Sova. A lot of information, and these two players can come really, really clutch for both teams.
Yeah, I completely agree. It just goes to show, though, that the difference in stylistics here between Iceling as well as Piety running different controllers is where the Hero KDA and NYX Kyosei want to find the advantage. When you're running the Astra, we always talk about the stall potential with the Gravity Well, as well as helping out with the stars from across the map. But on the other hand, the Paranoia is just such a strong utility that Piety has been able to use on both the defending as well as the attacking side. And that's where it really gets defined here. Who finds the impact in those crucial moments? Because in a game like this, it can swing so quickly. Once these two teams play the entry, Snowkey, Delbisky, they're going to be those tips of the spears, but beyond that, it's how the rest of the team funnel in after those initial smokes and stuns come out.
Yeah, I'm also wondering about, how crucial the rotations will be here. Kachao and Strawberry Bagel as well on both the Killjoys. That's going to be really exciting, especially since, again, we saw Bagel yesterday with a lot of really cheeky plays. I'm eager to see that today as well. And, hopefully the Hero KDA, if they make it all the way out to the end, I'm all for the Odin Glory, the sprays over here up until the very end of this day. And right now, I believe we are ready to pass it on over to our casters. So let's get into Haven. Black and Blue and Zach, all yours.
Thank you so much for that, Mika and Dax. We're going to be heading into game number 1 for the day, the best of 3 that will decide which team stays in this LCQ, has a chance of making it to Elite, and will be moving on. But before that, a quick introduction. It's me, Zach, joined by the wonderful Black and Blue. We're going to be casting this best of 3 for today. Now, going by what our panel has said so far, Black and Blue, there seems to be heavy leaning by each team towards their particular map. So what are your thoughts about the veto so far?
Well, first and foremost, I think we saw an incredible performance coming from NYX yesterday, right? The way they were able to kind of rally back and then string that momentum into map number 2, is one thing that we have to be concerned with. So if ever this does still go into favor early on of the Hero KDA, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, NYX Kyosei are able to respond for that map number 2. So I really do think map number 3, it could be inevitable for a series like this.
If it is inevitable as well, history seems to be on the Hero KDA side. This is a matchup that already did happen in that Swiss stage, and 2 of the 3 maps, they're still the same. Back then as well, Fracture and Bind were played, and it was kind of a reverse sweep coming out of the Hero KDA. So I think that Dax did mention that this map is kind of a must-win condition here for NYX Kyosei ideally. And this is a map where yesterday as well, they started off a little bit on the wrong foot. It was a 3-9 half, but those were the magic numbers, because I think it ended 13-11 after that.
Yeah, well, at least in a map like Haven, they have that very recent history of making sure they can get nitty and gritty and come back when the odds seem against them. Still, though, you'll never want it to get that far, as Hero KDA here starting on the attacking side, making contact early towards C.
Still gonna be a lot of pesky Killjoy utility to deal with here if they do decide to push the issue, and that will cause the Hero KDA to fall back a little bit. They don't have much control on other places of the map. You can see how proactive NYX are really playing on this defensive side.
Well, you can, as you mentioned, right, see how They wanted to press forward early on, but now as they rotate both initiators here to this A site, you get the scan rather than jump peek reconnaissance off of Liz Chan, and they know the A site hit is coming now. The question is, do they anchor down or try and give it on up? They're gonna try and fight for the site itself.
Nice recon to spawn out a couple of these players, letting Liz Chan really find the value here, but it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade, and suddenly the Hero KDA, they swing across the board here. Kills coming through completely in their favor, and suddenly it's a 1v2. Kashao, we've seen her get some incredible kills in the past before, but in this 1v2, it will just be one kill that she finds as the Hero KDA take the pistol.
A nice attempt, I mean, at least by the defense here. Tried to flood back in while the Hero KDA were going for the site execute itself, but obviously the fight just favoring here the Hero KDA, who just had the momentum to kind of overrun whoever was on the site there, being Liz Chan and Shuni for the most part, where typically you'd want that breach a bit further back so they can help with utility, but instead they didn't have that trap at the ready, and Hero KDA take the opening pistol because of it.
Yeah, it just seemed like they weren't super prepared for how quick that execute was, and you did see a recon dart coming in as well, but just wasn't able to find too much value off the back of that, apart from that initial kill. Now, the Hero KDA A-side worked for them great last time. They're looking for a repeat of the same feat. Once again, the dash from Snow onto site does catch on the position of the breach, and Liz Chan in the corner already being shut down by a Lulu. Huge opener in this anti-eco. Again, with just a Sheriff on Zelvinsky, I don't know how much they can do with everybody on the flank.
Oh, flank catch. Big shot here by Strawberry Bagel. Second for her. You've seen her coming big, and that's a third. No real way to fight at that range. And Hero KDA, swift and flawless second round. And you can see that Snowkey, she's been taking a quite common pattern here of taking that dash all the way towards the right side of the site and kind of circumventing whoever might be on the back side.
That's one of the things that makes me the most sad. After this tournament, I don't think it's gonna be much more difficult for Jets to really pull off that maneuver, with the nerfs coming in to both the dash and the smoke, but especially that cloudburst time going down. Yeah, this is kind of like a last song here for Jet. That said, though, I was very impressed by Strawberry Bagel and her positioning to be able to get all of those kills, puts her incredibly close to that lockdown, but also just really able to save up that money and build invest in a rifle for this bonus. So quite a hefty bonus for the Hero KDA.
Well, you said right? They have lots of firepower, more than you might expect on a typical bonus to fight with here, and if they can kind of close up the gaps of engagement, they can really surprise NYX and take a third round, especially on this attacking side. That would be spectacular. Vandal in the hands of Strawberry Bagel, as she's able to farm up quite a bit in the last round, and once again, a real good chance here, but proactivity from NYX at least gains control of A long as B. I think it's the right side to hit.
It is indeed. Dash comes in from Snow. They manage to take the link here. They're not even going to push further up. They're just happy to get the plant on that east side. One of the easiest sides to get that spike down, but also makes it a little bit harder to defend. The utility seems to be the saving grace here for this particular team as they all fall back towards the open plant, but the flank is already sealed. Liz Chan looking for a little bit of value. 1-for-1 trade here, and the numbers remain in favor of the Hero KDA. And in that close range engagement, Spectre comes out on top. Two players left, Kachao and Zelvinsky. What can they find? Quite a bit, it seems like. And now it's just a 1v2. They know where Lulu is possibly positioned. The defuse attempt starts to come in. Stun to try and keep off the back of, but it's not going to be enough, and Zelvinsky will make sure that NYX win their buy.
Well, I mean, at least NYX are able to kind of weather the storm there. Could have been very dangerous. That B-side plant can be quite a difficult one to try and, tear apart on the post plant like that, but luckily the fights here being given towards NYX were ones that did end up favoring their defense, and when they kind of got encapsulated there, they kind of got all surrounded really on the site. They just weren't able to pick their fights and focus down on one area to keep them and their more, I guess, powerful positions in check.
Definitely. I think that when you talk about positioning, right, you mentioned the proactivity that NYX were showing, but that's the thing. If you do extend on one part of the map, you leave yourself a little bit more open on the other.
Sova's dead.
1-for-1 trade already towards Long. Delvinsky finds that early kill, but Lischan gets taken down. That's going to mean no more recon available for the duration of this round for the side of NYX. And this lurk from Strawberry Bagel, both Killjoys just sitting next to each other. Kachao has the information now, though.
What does she do with that information is the question. They smoke Strawberry Bagel out, so he's looking to opt for a different choice here. A-side hit at the ready. They do have one away from that Rolling Thunder, so the plant, it can be useful for the post plant if they do get that ult online. I'm not too aware of the short presence here coming from Shuni, especially. Dubsky's let her presence known, but good timing on this. They can dismantle it. Big pick off from Strawberry Bagel. They know now Shuni is here, but what do they do with this? Kachao is ready to help.
Paranoia connects as well, but inside the dark cover, Lulu just seems to be able to find everything, brings it down to a 1v1. But PD's positioning just a little bit too ahead, ready for the angle and the swing, and PD will be able to find the defuse to bring things up to 2-2. For NYX Kyosei, I like the adaptations that they're showing here. They were trying to anchor down Hunker and fight for that site in those previous rounds, but instead now they go for this kind of short presence play, able to at least keep the numbers even, and the backup this time around was quick as well.
One enemy remaining.
Well, I think really here, the fact that that hold towards that short position was still able to stay alive, even though Dubsky taken down, yeah, Shuni getting the one, was able to be enough of a threat for the rest of the retake to pour on in. Kachao, Piety especially, coming in there from that spawn, and it made it a lot more uncomfortable for the Hero KDA, so they got some ultimates to throw, but you'd wager they'd want to pick off first before committing a big ultimate to this round.
That does seem to be the case here. They look to go in. It's a retake setup coming in out of NYX Kyosei, and already the damage being done with the spam, the nanoswarm enough to close out the kill. Delvinsky with a second opener as well. The spike has gone down, yes, but there's still so much damage being done. PD finding the third kill of the round. They're in shambles here. Just Strawberry Bagel, Sheriff in hand, Lockdown in hand. I doubt we're going to be really seeing that come in. They know exactly where she is. The spam coming in to boot, and Strawberry Bagel just looking for something, anything in this round. Able to at least find 2 kills with the Sheriff here. Looking for a little bit more, but the defuse will come through, and NYX, they take the lead.
She's been really sharp with that Sheriff here today. We saw a while ago in the second round, and now again. So always a threat Strawberry Bagel has to be, it seems. For the most part, though, as I said, I don't wager they'd be too keen on using these big ultimates without the pick, and we see that here. So good discipline, by all means, I think, by the Hero KDA. They knew it's not necessarily the most winnable round, so no need to commit those ults. And now they have some to throw in retaliation to what NYX might have for the post plant, but it's about getting into the site comfortably that has been a problem for them. We see the setups here on the defense from NYX, by Kachao especially, have been quite a nuisance for the Hero KDA in some of these rounds.
This round, both teams have that lockdown as well, so when you talk about setups, that might be an even bigger factor. Full-on execute here off the back of the Rolling Thunder. A-side once again left up for that retake thanks to the sheer number of ults that are available for the side of NYX Kyosei. Spike is going to go down.
Planted.
Cosmic Divide as well comes out of the Hero KDA along with the lockdown to just buy as much time as possible. They just need to wind down the 40-second timer here. Counter lockdown as well. Try to break it. Hunter's Fury ultimates ringing through on either side. Oh, this is so awkward. Snow, though, finds that first kill.
Big counter ult, but what a swing here coming from Hannah as well. Brings it down to the 1v4. It's way out of reach for Liz Chan. No chance in hell he's able to get that one, and this is a great round now for the Hero KDA to come out of that with only Olulu going down in the round. It's a big sign that they're still in this game.
They're just incredible at the way they go. They've been going for these executes. They just have a battle plan, in particular when they have rounds that go off the back of these ultimates, right? There's just no way that NYX can really hold on to the site, and they kind of know it. That's why they go in for that post plan. But if you look at how those ultimates traded out, ultimately the Hero KDA, they were able to swap him out for a very advantageous position, and NYX, they looked a little bit impatient as well with that spike kicking down to try and go forward.
Eco here now for NYX, and too sure what much they can do here. Big scan, and okay, Kachow. Sentinels doing good work with these sheriffs in hand. Able to get a trade-off at the very least. Look at how scrappy NYX are fighting this battle. Lischad with a double, Piety with another. And suddenly, the eco, it's worked out.
Yeah, they try to go barrel rushing in, but are immediately punished for it as NYX, they don't give up an inch on that side. The cavalry comes charging in from garage as well, and now it's just a 1v4. We've seen incredible things come out of Strawberry Bagel in the past here, but this might be a little bit too much even to ask for her, especially with that spike being kind of stuck on site. Now has to be aware of the flank, gets reconned out once again. They know exactly where she is, and the discipline coming out of the NYX players, right? They don't really want to force the issue. They know they have the spike, they have the win condition in their pocket. All they have to do is take care of Strawberry Bagel, especially with the crossfires in the corners. She has to push forward here, and going for the Blade Storm and the Phantom, not going to be working out. NYX, they retake the lead off the back of a Thrifty.
Yeah, impossible situation there for Strawberry Bagel to try and convert, but see, when they try to simply bomb rush their way into the site, not giving respect to the threat that NYX can have, even on these ecos, they're punished heftily for it, and rightfully so. Timeout forced out of the Hero KDA's pocket. Operator now available for Delpsky. I think here what NYX have been doing a great job of doing is being sure to give the Hero KDA multiple different threats at a single time, so that Hero KDA, they can't simply focus down on one side of the push, on one target, on one single threat to eliminate. We saw that on that B site plant a while ago from the Hero KDA, and we're seeing that more here now that they're on this, when they were on the eco. So if they can continue that and gain a few more rounds on the defensive side, they might be golden for this second half.
Agree with that here. For NYX, they also do have that operator coming in, so it might make it easier for them to tease out those fights that you mentioned. So far, the Hero KDA, they seem to have a set battle plan, at least on this attacking side. Like to go fast, like to go as hard as possible, get those kills, get that spike down, and force NYX to really play at their pace. But NYX have been quick to adapt here, as we saw from that previous round. Economy got to be back in their favor, and for the Hero KDA, they're going to be forcing everything they have in this round, but it's kind of put them in a must-win condition here.
See what they got to throw out now. Rolling Thunder available for the defense. Might want to hold on to that. They can tell that if an A-side hit comes, retake is going to be their plan. Nobody within the site here for NYX. Oh, big shot, but the only legs of Strawberry Bagel. She's lucky to come away with her life.
Yeah, barely getting away there. Now finally the execute comes in on this A-side. Snow leading the charge with the Blade Storm in hand. They found the site abandoned. They know that they have it for free. This time around, going to be clearing out short as well. Hannah tries to get down the plan, but the Rolling Thunder is already there to try and buy a little bit of time. Shuni spotted the players, not able to quite do the damage yet, and the utility barrage is coming in. The spike is finally gonna go down here, but doesn't get a full 5-on-5 unless of course Shuni does something like that. Ooh, able to trade back 3v3 situation on site. The flame comes in as well. Snow going for the wraparound, takes care of it, and Shuni on site. She's the last anchor to try and contend with this spike. Gonna be in her control, has to tease out, isolate these fights.
30 seconds left.
Short. Doesn't seem like they know where they are, but Snow quick to react.
She had great timing there, just could not land a shot, and both Strawberry Bagel and Snowkey were pretty tagged up already. Unfortunately, just could not find those kills going her way, but NYX, it was looking so good for them at the start there. Able to slow down, yeah, maybe commit a lot of utility to it, but they denied the plant, get the spike out of reach here, but an even better decision to be made by the Hero KDA with Snowkey and Strawberry Bagel especially, kind of going through short, the sewers, wrapping around through main, clearing that out entirely, and getting the free kill on the Kachow, allow them to kind of re-stabilize and re-establish themselves in the round.
Yeah, that was a really good read, actually. The fact that they had the presence of mind to clear back around, be sure, because of the fact that the Killjoy utility kind of goes out of range when it is all the way back. So very, very methodical. They're rewarded for that kind of play. play. Economy still going to be stable for both these teams, though. Now, pressure being applied by the attackers towards his girl outside. Strawberry Bagel just walks up, finds a couple of kills, knows where there's a second player shooting, using the aftershock to try and push them out, and that will net her the kill, bringing things back down to an even number.
Well, it is a 4v4, and this typically does kind of split the defense up thin. So what's going to happen here is that NYX, they're going to be a bit more dry for information gathering, even with that Sova still online, because simply enough, they lose one player, and that spreads the defense thin. So now they have to play all the way back, no chance of anchoring. It's going to be a retake, is going to be their idea. The Rolling Thunder here for the hero KDA is also going to make this post plant a lot more
30 seconds left.
NYX, it's going to be difficult to try and dismantle this, but let's see what they got up in store.
Recon coming in, they gotta group up for this retake here. All of them really converging onto the side from the same position. Nobody's gonna be really spotted out by the Recon. Snow playing up close in that dark cover, that first point of contact, but Kachao takes care of her. Already first kill coming in for NYX. Rolling Thunder gonna be invested early on before that spike even tapped, and it's well Hannah as well, netting them a kill. PD will find another one, and just like that, the awareness from shooting to take out Ululu. A beautiful retake coming out of NYX, capitalizing on the Rolling Thunder to take out their opponents, and that's the best part. It wasn't even their Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, like it almost worked for them, right? And Ululu tagging up Hannah there. And the big thing as well was Kachao being able to find Snowkey there within the smoke, because they threw that smoke to isolate the hell position so that they can clear out Graffiti without having to worry about the crossfire. And yet, when they push the smoke, still, she wins out the bout, and that really just dismantled the post plant hold here. They were bagging, waiting, and hoping that Snowkey could get one, but Kachao just a lot more sharper in that case, pushing through the smoke, and everything thereon just fell into NYX's lap.
5-4, incredibly close game so far between both of these teams. So far, NYX, though, apart from that first couple of rounds, we haven't really seen much aggression come out of them, instead opting for just that kind of on-site play that nets them a kill already. PD catching out Hannah in Garage, being able to find that kill is huge. Now, 3 players from NYX on the C site trying to hold on to it. Snow spots out one of them. Now, though, NYX know that Garage has been completely compromised. They're just going to be happy to watch it from this back angle now that they have an advantage.
Well, I mean, in this case, if you're the hero KDA, all you're hoping for is maybe some sort of economic damage, because NYX aren't too, I guess, happy with the amount of economy they have in these XP rounds if they lose a few guns in this, so they're not out of the woodwork just yet. Big damage done on the shooting, and Strawberry Bagel, that's a big pick they're able to find too.
Possible gun that can be retrieved as well, but Piety wants to be sure that that's not the case here. Goes for the re-clear, takes out Strawberry Bagel, creating a little bit more pressure. Now though, this crossfire, it has to be dismantled. They don't check Snow, and she is rewarded with a double kill for her efforts. 2v3 situation, the spike is ticking. Chow and Petey, they have to go in, try to get the defuse here. Halfway stuck, almost all the way here. All they have to do is find these kills, and Piety with 4. She will do the job, and NYX, that looked like a situation that could have gone very badly, but they restabilize.
I mean, it was looking pretty good for the hero KDA there after the first pick. Strawberry Bagel finds the opposing breach here on Shuni, and then after that, right, they go for kind of like this aggressive crossfire setup where they don't expect Snowkey at all. Finds 2 to clean up house, but that's a problem when you kind of play off site on any map, really, when you know their controller is still alive. They can throw those smokes in your face, and you make your post plant, you know, long hold just suddenly a bigger problem. And if you can't find a spam through, you don't have utility like a molly to keep him off the spike, then that's exactly what happened. So luckily for NYX, able to still rectify that round.
I like the position of Snow coming there. Like you mentioned, they just didn't expect that crossfire, but despite that, the hero KDA, they're not able to close out the round. Aftershock to force out Delsbinski takes quite a bit of damage, but at least will be able to get away with her life. Triple stack towards this A site. In the past, the hero KDA, they've been very insistent on pushing the issue on this particular site. So this time around, NYX, they don't want to let it slip out of their hands without a little bit more of a fight here. Still, the hero KDA advancing on this particular approach. Drone invested now by Hannah to try and clean it out. You can already see Shuni getting ready to break it, and the lockdown as well to come to boot will force these players off the side. They don't really want to risk playing for it. It seems like the timing not right for Shuni, and Strawberry Bagel will find that first.
Man, if Dubsky just knew, she could have gotten a free pick there, just peeking on over when she was on top of the box, because Strawberry Bagel was right under her. But on the fallback, Shuni gets left alone, isolated. Now they get the spike down, but they got the lockdown here to try and buy them some space. Cosmic Divide expires. They have the Husky Spirit to apply more pressure, but nobody's watching the lockdown.
Lurk from Iceling takes care of it, so that will reduce the pressure on the Hero KDA to try and get off the side here. Two players, in fact, coming in for that Lurk play. They would expect the first, not the second, but you didn't even need them. Hannah just being able to go huge here to find those 2 kills. Lurk kicking in as well. Piety surrounded on all sides. Tries to find something, but Hannah denies it. 3 kills for the Sova, and the Hero KDA gets a 5.
Smart idea here for the Hero KDA to kind of wrap around early. You can tell that they knew that lockdown was going to come into play because you're already sending that lurk up early. As soon as they got the plant down, sent the 2 to try and come in from behind. They knew it would be a problem if they all just front faced them, and the timeout by NYX Kyosei this time around. I still do think they have a good chance of making something happen in this round, but it's a Hero KDA who have been giving them a fight. Still though, the defensive side, 6 rounds, not too bad so far in the first half.
For sure. The thing though is that when it comes down to just coordination, I feel like the Hero KDA are looking a bit more in sync with each other. NYX, you know, there seem to be a little bit of miscommunications happening. Like in that last round, for example, initially it seemed like they wanted to fight it out, but then they realized they had the lockdown, tried to fall back, but nobody was really covering Shuni in that particular case. So the spacing coming out of the Hero KDA, the way they're going for these executes and their post-plant reads as well, they're just getting better and better as we head further into the game here. Sure, they had a little bit of a rough start, but they've been very, very quick to like restabilize here.
Well, can they retaliate and equalize the score up? They have the weapons advantage here, but the ults, NYX have got some own of their in their pocket to throw her out. And if you're NYX Kyosei right now, a 7th round would really help bolster themselves up. Big ultimate early to throw out, considering there is a Hunter Spear on the other side, but don't really find too much off of it. Just a bit of damage, a tag on Strawberry Bagel. That's about it. So NYX Kyosei now, they have some idea this A-side hit is to come. Stars who telegraph that. Hero KDA should get the plant out here unless they choose to deny that with a Rolling Thunder.
Seems like they're saving that ultimate just for a retake instead. This time around, the Hero KDA playing a little bit more aggressive. Rolling Thunder coming in, but it's not going to really connect with both of these players under Heaven. Hunter's Fury as well. They know where this player in the corner is. Not quite able to hit the shots, though, with the Paranoia at least. The Aftershock will find the kill under Heaven, though. Lulu for 3 already, finally being shut down. And it's going to come down to a 1v1. Hannah versus Delvinsky. Delvinsky low, has the dash climb, will be able to get away and finds the headshot. 3 for her on the round, and NYX, they get to 7. And Black and Blue, yesterday, NYX on defense, they only found 3, and they won almost every single attacking round going forward. Are we going to see a repeat of that? Let's find out, but before we head into half number 2, we have our panelists coming in.
Some exciting rounds already to start off the day. I feel like, you know, for NYX Kyosei, I like the teamwork that they have, the kind of like buddy system that they have. You never really catch any one of them alone at any one time, right? But I do agree with Zach. There seems to be a little bit more awareness on the side of the Hero KDA here, especially here on attack. So for NYX Kyosei, I think like going into attack this time, could they potentially do better? Especially since, like, you know, that buddy system could work wonders, especially if they decide to split.
Look, it's in the game of multiple angles here, Mika. We've seen for both NYX Kyosei as well as the Hero KDA, they love to find threats elsewhere as much as possible. The lurks coming in from the attack, they're on the NYX side, that they suddenly can find another angle to work with on the defense. And I'm really thinking about right now for NYX, there seems to be less coordination than usual. And you look at the roster right now, truthfully, it feels like, I guess there are a few issues moving earlier on that we have both Liz Shan and Kachao, who we haven't really rarely seen play in the playoffs so far on pretty much a map that they have picked. They're doing wonderful so far, but we've seen the hero KDA have found moments to actually make those openings work. So as of right now, it really feels like NYX, they have this lead, but it can be tied up very, very quickly, Mika. Let's throw it over back to the cast though, rather, as we will see the second half coming.
Thank you very much for that, panelists. Now, second half coming into it. NYX, yesterday, they were incredibly successful on attack, to say the least. And this time, they're starting off with the lead.
Well, it's already a lot better than what we saw yesterday from their Haven, right, in that first half. So, who knows, maybe good tidings to come for many a NYX fan and these bunch of gals who have really shown they've improved already here today. Dax did say that, maybe there's a bit less coordination sometimes in what NYX are doing, but they're still able to scrap out these rounds, so you can't really knock at the tenacity of what these gals have been doing here in some of these defensive rounds, but their attacking side could be a very different question. So let's see how they try and differ things up now that the sides have swapped.
Yesterday, they seemed to kind of favor these very quick executes. They would go for a little bit of a default, get some information, and then just storm into site. And after a while, they were just doing the storming into site part, not even going for that real default play. So they're a team that on this attacking side seems to thrive off the back of momentum. We're looking for that a little bit more. Now leaning over towards the C side, smoke comes down. You do see Iceling trying to play within it, around it, already able to find that first kill off the back of the sun. Elvinsky goes down, Strawberry Bagel chiming in as well with some backup. The crossfire is almost impossible to break here. Heidi trying to play around the smoke, does find a couple of kills, but it goes away at the worst time, leaves her open, and now it will be the hero KDA to take the pistol. They fight it out on site, and they win every single one.
Yeah, good pistol for them to take, to not let NYX kind of further extend this lead even out of the question. And on the defense, really, lots of this utility being super effective, especially that gravity well there, making it so uncomfortable for the push to just commit through all the way to the back side, catching out a player like Delbsky. And one has to wonder when, those Astro changes do come, will things start to change and how teams play around it, really.
I think we might see more of my boy Omen coming back into the meta especially with Astra's pull being her most valuable piece of utility, arguably. With that one being nerfed, it's definitely going to make things a little bit more rough for her, but at least the stun might get a little bit more value. Either way, though, back to the match here. The hero KDA, they were able to win that pistol, looking a little bit healthier when it comes to the buy here. And already off the back of that Strawberry Bagel, able to find that first kill onto Kachao. Kind of lurking around Garage, trying to find some value, but it's going to be Strawberry Bagel with the opener instead.
Well, Strawberry Bagel, she's a player that has been consistently such a dominant force here, especially on the defensive side when you see her throughout this LCQ. But look at this, they're flushing out the hero KDA from that short position, and also pulls the defense to rotate there. So if NYX can find the timing on this, they might be able to hit another site that's a bit more unguarded. You can tell the hero KDA, they're kind of catching on. They send Iceling back, they're clearing out the corner here. Strawberry Bagel holding down the line, but not for too long. And
30 seconds left.
That's a 3v4, but everybody's like one sliver away from death.
Recon coming in, everybody's super low like you mentioned. Lulu still finds room before being shut down on Delvinsky. 6 HP, 1 bullet, does find the kill onto Hannah, but that will be it, and Iceling will take her down. A very nice eco coming out of the hero KDA. A very nice anti-eco that they managed to convert here, but NYX, they do the damage as well. They take down 3 players, charging up some of their own ultimates, and also denying the value for that bonus, really, for the hero KDA. They're not going to be investing too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think all things considered, NYX are not too worried about that eco there. It's do good damage, as you said, Zach, and that's really all you can hope for sometimes on those eco rounds. So now the hero KDA, how do they try and differ this on up? Look at this damage being done here. Look at the pressure being applied on this attacking side. They both had the same idea of rushing down that C long, but now they're at the stalemate. And I think it's up to NYX here to try and divert, change their plan up, see what other side of the map they can hit.
Try to go in for a fast and heavy execute on C, but didn't exactly work out in their favor. Now I think they're aware of this heavy rotation that's come in. 4 players, in fact, stacked around this garage and C area from the side of the Hero KDA. They're looking to go towards garage instead, where there are 2 players just trying to hold it out here. Lulu goes for the peek, gets away with their life, lucky for her. And it seems like the Hero NYX, they want to go for the B side instead. Alarmbot giving away that information, but nobody really on site to try and deny them this additional value. They go out towards that link, able to find a kill into Strawberry Bagel, and that will be enough to get them the plant. Even as another push from Garage is just caught out by Liz-chan. So aware. 3 players remain. They're all walking into Liz-chan's arms. 3 on the round already for her. 1 player left to go. Aisling goes for the wraparound, looking to do at least some damage here. Might be able to find the timing and does in fact take down Kachao. Now, 1v4, not gonna survive.
Nice shots here coming in from NYX, and especially their Liz-chan kind of holding the back line down. No real problem for her, obviously. Weapons advantage heavily in her favor. But still, nice shots to connect, and that gets her within 1 of the Hunter's Fury, which could be really useful in this round and in the next few, considering the lockdown is available now for the Hero KDA. And if you're NYX, you're kind of wondering, how can we get them to burn some of this utility early on? Because we see in these kind of head-to-head fights, especially with a mostly mirror match, it's been a stalemate whenever both sides kind of pick the same side to really bunker and strengthen down.
Defense definitely looking much stronger coming out of the Hero KDA than yesterday's game that NYX played. They seem to have their strategies in place, so as to speak. Aisling as well, going for a very proactive push down C long, has all of this information for free, and that will enable the rotation towards this A side from Snow to back up the remaining players. Lockdown available as well for this retake if necessary. Execute finally coming in. Dash onto site. Delvinsky goes in the open. Liz-chan and Delvinsky between them though find all 3 players on site. Kind of the only one left, along with Aisling. The flank coming in as well. Wraps around. Makes it a 2v1, and Aisling, she has a lot to do here.
That was just a complete scramble there. At least, you know, the Hero KDA is still winnable by Aisling, and there it is. Big pick off for her. But knowing the omens available, as she sees this plant, she should know that, hey, heaven is where it could be. And that's exactly where she puts a Cosmic Divide for. So, great heads up by Aisling, but does she know it's coming from CT? Gets off at the half. The swing by Piety's right in time, though, as Aisling has kept guessing. She had the right idea, but just could not find the timing. And so, NYX, Kyosei, they get their 9th round on the board.
That was a beautiful execute coming in out of them. Just that 1-2 punch between Delbinsky and Liz-chan to be able to find all 3 players on site. I'm surprised that the Hero KDA were playing that aggressively with the presence of that lockdown, but I guess that NYX, they probably were hoping that NYX would expect an empty site so they could punish them for it. Instead, just the presence of mind and awareness that really wins the day for them. Hero KDA now on this awkward buy situation. NYX seems to be aware of it. Early pressure towards mid this time around, but it's just a static default so far. And Aisling, once again, going out on a little bit of an exploration. Gonna take contact soon with the Omen. Does get spotted out and will be forced to fall back.
Well, now that it's kind of the flip side here with the Eco being on the Hero KDA, how do they convert? We saw a while ago NYX on their defensive side being very scrappy in these type of thrifty rounds, but NYX, they're not kind of willy-nilly just rushing into a site. They want to make sure they get the bigger picture of the situation before committing, as not to try and repeat the same mistakes we saw from the opposing side a while ago in the first half. And now NYX Kyosei, because of that, they've been able to pull that defense here towards C, while it's A they're currently working on, which is a lot less defended here from the defense.
Yeah, just gonna be a Killjoy and some Killjoy utility. Strawberry Bagel gets checked as well, so Delvinsky, that's gonna be the opener that they really need to confirm their way onto site. Like you mentioned, Black and Blue looking completely empty. Not much that they can do here. Aisling tries to walk into her smoke with Liz-chan, so aware, will be able to take her out. The flank as well, just being held down by Piety. There's no avenue available for the Hero KDA to even start this retake. The 2 remaining players both coming in from Heaven and CT respectively. Gotta go forward, gotta find something, but it's just not happening. And now Hannah, 1v5, Sheriff in hand, finds the first. That will be all that she gets, and NYX, they get to double digits.
Yeah,
This isn't
NYX
a fight.
continuing that
Stealing large
momentum
money.
from near the first half into the second here now. And they've been such a surprising team, really. Try and show up, especially against a team like the Hero KDA, who have a few names that we've become accustomed to. Not that, NYX haven't. We know Liz Chan, we know Delpsky, we know Kachao, where they came from in the past as well. Piety has been a big player showing up this map, but I think the fact that every single win of theirs, for the most part, has been a 2-0 in this LCQ, that's a big statement to make, especially with tough competition.
Got it. Obscuring vision.
I don't know if they can really keep up that record, though, the way that it's going. These games have been going so far. Now, economy back in favor for the Hero KDA. They still have that lockdown as well as that Hunter's Fury. Might need it to deny the plants or at least try to play for the retake, especially since Kachao doesn't have one of her own. NYX this time around putting some pressure towards mid and garage. Again, they're not rushing things. A little bit of a change from what we saw out of them yesterday. Kachao, though, will be able to take down Snow on the lurk, and that's going to trigger the rotation over towards Ayo. Lulu in the corner, only able to find one, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, she could have found another there maybe, but I think she got cleared out, so had to pull the trigger. And now, at least they know early on that the hit is going to come towards the A side, but you can see them giving it up. They want to play the post-plant retake instead. And because Kachao is dead, they don't have any utility checking that flank, so Strawberry Bagel picking up the killer and the Piety. This could be big, but Delsky gets the one on Aisling. This still keeps him with an advantage. Hunter's Fury connects, but
30 seconds
it's a
left.
1v3. Still difficult situation here for Hannah.
Has to start with isolating these fights here, but unfortunately it will be the round coming in for NYX once again. 11-7 now, 2 away from locking in their map pick. And Black and Blue, if there's anybody who could probably clutch out a 1v3 like that, I would have to put my money on Hannah, but this time around it's a little bit too much to ask even for her.
I mean, we've seen many of those come time and time again from her, from all the teams she's been in, and yet, I mean, in this situation, they just did not give her the opportunity to do so as well. They know how much of a threat she is in that case. We saw it from that Rising Hope, from Mysteria, from Enigma Galaxy even in the past, but whatever those accomplishments might be, and that's the truth here for a lot of the players here on the Hero KDA, from where they've come from, Snowkey as well, Aisling as well. They might have done a lot in the past, but it's about doing things here now, which for the most part, it's NYX Kyosei who's been really good at converting these rounds. They've been so much more on point, and their procedures to this attacking side has been very convincing in the amount of mid-round decision making that they're pretty on point at.
Yeah, they're really, really good at taking those calls as to where they want to go. They've been very good at just creating the impression that they're going somewhere, swapping things around, going for a fast hit in the opposite side. And more than that, I'm impressed by how their individual players are able to find openers, like Piety, for example, or Kachao. They've both been instrumental in finding those opening kills. Delvinsky as well, of course. When she goes off the side, she's definitely able to find that opening frag. But the rest of the team, the way they're positioning themselves, is just very impressive as to how much damage they can do. Now, you do see the Hero KDA going for a little bit more of an aggressive play already. Lulu towards the window area. But look at where NYX are holding. They expect this, Black and Blue.
Oh, maybe a Lulu.
Oh.
Great shot for her. But can she?
Lulu
fall
finds
back
one.
inside?
Takes down Liz Chan with the Sheriff here. Looking for a little bit more. Does spot out Kachao. Not able to connect the shot, though.
Well, at least she's able to fall back in safety. Lulu still holds on to that Rolling Thunder for this round. They got a big pick early on. Who'd expect the breach of all darn things to be that far up, right? Just crawling her way, and now she falls back into the safety of her own site. But NYX still not out of the woodwork just yet. Try and find a way to get themselves into a site with 35 seconds left remaining and taken down.
Snow has the knives as well, so this A side
30
looking a little
seconds
bit more
left.
heavily defended than usual. NYX, they're kind of debating between that A and B, but ultimately decide to go in for the B execute instead. Lulu gonna be watching the cross here, will put the stun down, but it's not gonna really stop the plant from coming in. NYX, they're gonna be able to get that spike down soon. Lockdown coming in as well, with the clock being where it is. Rolling gonna denies it once again, and now NYX finally trying to put it down. The push comes in, but Heidi denies it. Snow able to find 2 with the Blade Storm, but numbers still in favor of the side of the Hero KDA. Strawberry Bagel with the classic as well, the detain to boot, and that will be a beautiful raid take on this eco round to convert the Thrifty and deny NYX match point.
Nice work here coming from the Hero KDA. When they needed to the most, they show up, they step up, and NYX just did not get things to work out because the Hero KDA just made it so uncomfortable for them, rolling Thunder while the lockdown was in their face, and then you can obviously tell that Delpsky was trying to look for maybe a kill there before getting detained, but Snow just wasn't giving it on up, so it's a big round for them to win. Operator is allowed now to be bought up and the timeout forced out of the hands of NYX Kyosei, but I mean, barring some like kind of wayward lurks like that, like what we saw from Alolu towards that window, I don't know if that's going to continue to work again. So NYX, I think they're still pretty comfortable here. They just want to make sure they don't let their lead simply get swept under their feet.
I feel like for the Hero KDA, that was a round that they really needed to kind of feel a bit revitalized in this half, because before that it was 4 in a row after the pistol and anti-eco that the Hero KDA were able to win. So definitely momentum finally being broken. They're gonna be, and that was a thrifty round to boot, so the fact that they were able to win it just off the back of 2 crucial ultimates, the Rolling Thunder as well as the lockdown, and of course the knives from Snow, 3 ultimates, never mind me. So the fact that they were able to convert it off the back of those has to be like a nice boost to not just their morale but also their economy. Already Snow gonna be able to finally bring that operator online. We haven't really seen that come out from her on this map before against this team, and it might be the difference maker here, but it's on the wrong side of the map.
Well, it might be on the wrong side of the map, but if they can start to rotate that just in the nick of time, if they can get kind of the read on the situation, then perhaps that can help their case out. You can see already they're adjusting Snow from that C now in the garage, locking that position down. I think she's shot out, yep. So they now know that op being available and present here. But Piety, that's a big pick for her to find Hannah, who seemingly wasn't aware of just how much presence there was from NYX here. So push coming on in, big, another find from Delpsky, and 3v5 with an Odin and an operator here. Not the most best situation for them at all. 2v4 right now, and you have to save at this point.
Strawberry Bagel and Snow, 2 players left. And again, the protocols out of NYX, they get the spike down, they have the crossfire ready to go, they know where these 2 players are most likely coming from here, but like you mentioned, BNB, the save, it has to be the call here.
Last player standing.
Push comes out as well, Kachao on the flank, able to find the kill onto Strawberry Bagel, and that's gonna be the Odin no longer carried over. Snow with the operator, she has to keep this for the next round. Sure, she wasn't able to find as much impact as she would have liked, but nevertheless, it could be a factor. Able to find a kill at least for her troubles, but that said, NYX, they're gonna be getting to match points now, only 1 away from taking the lead in the series.
Yeah, luckily able to evade here the hostility coming her way and save that operator. Could be the one turning point, the one big part of the defense in this final potential round to try and keep them alive. So if they can find her and place her in the right position, get a good read on where NYX are planning to go, maybe it's going to make a difference.
Need a drop.
Economy in a very rough spot for the Hero KDA. That op, like you mentioned, it's going to be that major factor, kind of the X factor to try and make this round for the Hero KDA. Early on, Hunter's Fury, though, gonna be invested here to clear out the angle. Iceling, though, not gonna be affected too much by it. Still gonna be able to hold on in the corner, but Delbisky checks it, is able to find that opener, and just like that, the seaside hold, it's fallen apart here for the side of the Hero KDA. They're going in early, looking for some value. The judge not able to find the kill, and it broke the Lulu to at least find the spike, but numbers still remain in favor of NYX very, very firmly. A 1v3 for Lulu. We've seen her pull out some very impressive clutches before, but this is going to have to be some magic. It's not going to be available though, and Liz Chan, the weapon advantage to close it out. NYX take map 1, 13-8, and they are ahead in this series.
Well, they tried to go ahead and before the lockdown does expire, does kind of set them all in place, but they just weren't able to do it in the nick of time without being, kind of scrambled in the retake attempt, and then obviously the first picks weren't going their way. Operator positioned the wrong side, and unfortunately here for the Hero KDA could not take it on their own map pick, so it's NYX Kyosei who have been looking a lot more, I guess, confident coming from that win, especially yesterday. But I'm sure there's nobody who can beat the confidence of our panel, Dax and Mika.
Are you sure about that?
Whatever you say, Black and Blue. Whatever you
sure.
say.
No, we'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll give him a
think
smile.
that. But NYX Kyosei here, I think, have all the confidence, especially in those final few rounds where you just really saw that they were fully aware of what the Hero KDA was going to do. They had the reads on point, and I think that, in terms of anticipating where they were going to go, they had that sixth sense kind of activated in those last few rounds. You could tell how much they want this.
Another dominant attacking side from NYX Kyosei, basically. When we watch them play on Haven, it just screams confidence every single time. They set up on the site, they find the angles, and truthfully, I was a bit worried here for NYX just because, again, that you look at the rosters playing right now, and it's two substitutes basically. We haven't seen Liz Shan since the group stage. We haven't seen Kachao ever at all, honestly, on this roster. I remember her from Orangutan X days, but they still find a way to make it work, and of course, the one to watch out for has to be Piety. An even better game compared to yesterday. 29 kills, Mika. And whenever it came down to the clutch, she would always deliver. A big reason why NYX is at this lead because of it.
Sometimes you see stats like these and maybe like an overall series and stuff, but there's just one map, and I think that, for Piety, absolutely stellar performance indeed. I think that, I think we can probably say that, hey, Pinoy map replaying, perhaps? I think you bring out a really good point with the roster, right? And I think that perhaps this is also what threw the Hero KDA off, right? They suddenly were faced with movements that they were potentially unfamiliar with because they did have two subs coming in. It's unique. It's like something that you wouldn't think they would pull out in a series, this late in the game for a last chance qualifier for Elite, but somehow it's working.
I'm not gonna mince words. I don't think they planned on doing this, honestly. I think sometimes things just happen. That's why we had a little bit of a delay to start off this series, right? But NYX Kyosei, no matter what we see is what we get from Haven. What kind of expectations we had at the very start of this series, they were able to do so. And while the Hero KDA, there were some big moments. I still remember that thrifty towards that B site from the Hero KDA. It barely happened in the second half. They tried to go for the raid sake. It will be NYX already in advanced positions. Yet again, playing on a map like this with NYX feeling very comfortable of where they can play off from, they advance in certain positions that the Hero KDA isn't prepared for. Biggest example, that last round. So convincing how they get C. So convinced that they get this win. They already tried to play towards that backside and even more. And those confident kind of plays are what has brought NYX Kyosei to this level.
Piety, just a monster indeed on this map, and I'm eager to see what else she does, especially going into Bind here. Last time that these two teams met up on Bind, again, it was very 50-50. You see the stats favor the Hero KDA on one half, and then suddenly it swings in favor of NYX Kyosei on the other half. It's a little too late for NYX Kyosei that time though, but I think they're pretty much prepared to take this as well, especially since the momentum is now in their favor.
Yeah, this first map is perfect for NYX Kyosei. They needed to win this just because the next two maps that we're gonna get here, Mika, have already been won by the Hero KDA before in their heads-to-head. And if Piety is playing to the level she's been all throughout the tournament before this series, Piety, I believe, had the third most efficient rating, the third highest ACS, top 5 KDA, and with a performance that we saw in that last map, it's just gonna add on to those stats even more so.
Crazy stats indeed. And I think that, that means well for NYX Kyosei, but again, that could just be that they're switching around, they're tossing around, passing around the momentum because they definitely want to be in this for the long run. And then when I mean the long run, they want to play 2 straight series in a day, including facing off Neons, right? We're gonna see if they can do exactly that as we step into our second map, but we're gonna go into a very quick break right before that, so don't go anywhere. VCT Game Changers APAC LCQ will be right back.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Player standing. Seconds left.
Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench
Number one goes over to Fifi and friends over at NYX Kyosei, but I feel like in Bind, we have another 50-50 on our hands. The Hero KDA, they could potentially want that revenge again and say, this was our map, we took it from you once, we can do it again. I feel like this again, these X factors of NYX Kyosei, this instant sudden roster shuffle is going to be very, very important as we come into a map that could potentially mean a 2-0 for NYX Kyosei, or that we go into a map 3.
Look, I'm just excited for this one because now we're getting into the Hero KDA's map pick. As you mentioned, you said it perfectly, Mika. The next two maps have been won by the Hero KDA before in this head-to-head. But NYX Kyosei, besides, of course, adding in Lishan as well as Ketchao, what we have seen from them over the past few days has just been absolutely beyond belief. We had Piety, of course, stepping up immensely in that last map. I wonder who's going to be able to do the same here. I guess my biggest concern right now, though, here for the side of NYX Kyosei is what are they going to be running now on Bind? Because they experimented with something like the Reyna before, they experimented with the Raze and the Cypher together, but it hasn't really panned out as much as they would like. And on the other hand, Mika, for the Hero KDA, this is one of their best maps, this LCQ. I believe they played it 4 times, they haven't dropped it as of yet.
Ooh, that's scary stats indeed if you're NYX Kyosei, especially knowing that the last time that you met the Hero KDA on this map, it unfortunately did not go their way. It very nearly did, though, as we were kept talking about, this match potentially being a pendulum swing. This is exactly that. This is the map that we were talking about. You look at the previous time that they were on Bind and you see the Hero KDA take 11 rounds, almost in a row, right? Very nearly just take the entire map from NYX Kyosei. Suddenly, NYX Kyosei get the second win and get this momentum back in the second half as they are on the attacking side. So, I feel like, that halftime mark is also going to be very important this time around. It could potentially switch things up.
I feel like, though, the biggest factor right now moving into Bind is how clutch and calm NYX Kyosei can be. Because going back to when they did face off, there were moments where it was like a 1v4 and someone like Hannah, someone like Ashling, they'd actually be able to pull it off. That's one of the biggest strengths of the Hero KDA. In terms of power levels, from what we've seen so far, I think Hero KDA is pretty much the standard, being on top of things, having that flawless record that we always say again and again. But when it comes down to it, there's always just that big step up from the Hero KDA. It's in their name, Mika. Someone plays hero, someone brings the team back into the fold, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it yet again because it's been the way that they've survived.
We're going here into Agent Select, and it doesn't seem like we're going into any major surprises as of the moment, except that we do have, again, Con back into the roster for this time, and somebody won.
Yeah, somebody's back. Con is back. They still keep Ketchao, though, which is, again, very interesting because we haven't seen her for so long on this roster. Yes, she is an incredible player with such a talented history from Orangutan X, but now she's going to be picking up the side of her Hero KDA, though. This is something that has worked out for them before. Run that fade, run that brimstone. Hannah and Ashling yet again highlighted to be those two players to watch out for. It's been tried and tested, and Mika, no team has gotten double digits against the Hero KDA all throughout this tournament on this map. Will we see it yet again? Their attacking side has been very overwhelming, 72% overall. Honestly, I'm so scared right now for NYX Kyosei because Hero KDA are ready to dictate what will happen here on Bind to begin with.
It's a very powerful push too, right? You do have the Fade, you do have the Sky on the side of the Hero KDA. And NYX Kyosei, they do have some stopping power, just some, especially with that Cypher. Unfortunately, I don't know how this new roster again is going to mix up here. NYX Kyosei here, they're really mixing things up. I'm eager to see how it all pans out. So let's step into Bind. Casters, over to you guys.
Thank you so much for that, Mika and Dax. Map number 2 coming up here, Bind, and we heard it from the panel, Black and Blue. This is a map where no team so far has managed to find double digits at all. So Hero KDA definitely looking like they have an advantage so far.
Well, if it's comfortable for nobody, then who really is in a better position here, right? So I am curious about the fact that both teams are running ciphers when that's not typically the norm here. So that might just be kind of a big point of contention and how either team is able to utilize that more. Obviously, it matters a bit more to kind of close this out here. If you're the Hero KDA, you do not want to go down now. You're in the lower bracket, right? That's your elimination potentially in your face. And It's NYX Kyosei who, after a considerably convincing map number 1, they're riding momentum into this map, but this is a map pick now of the Hero KDA, so they have to have something up planned and in store for map number 2.
I think that X Factor could possibly be Khan here. She was the MVP in both the maps yesterday against Devi and Topaz. Really incredible shooting coming out of her. And that's what I like about this LCQ, right? You see all of these less known players. I say less known because I'm sure that they've been having an incredible amount of impact even before. But you get to see some of these players really being highlighted. And for NYX Kyosei, what is a little bit different is the fact that they are running a slightly different team than they were the last time they played Hero KDA in that Swiss stage. So somebody gonna be that X factor coming into this. We know about Capricious. We've seen her on that jet just absolutely slay out. So her switching over to that Sova role. Interested to see what exactly is gonna be happening as they walk up towards this B side. Early recon already finds the information of presence here, and NYX, they know where there is that presence, but what are they gonna do with it? Already 3 players on site here to try and deny the push from coming in, and that Cypher utility, it's gonna cause even more of a delay.
And they simply can't just push in now that they've kind of been found out. So you see Chow trying to press ever forward, trying to gather a bit more information where the Hero KDA could be committing to. A Strawberry Bagel on the opposing side is biding her time here towards Showers. That Guiding Light will confirm presence towards Showers, and that's going to pull the defense away towards her side as well. But this time, it's actually a short now that Hero KDA are looking to kind of aggress through, and most of the defensive NYX just aren't ready.
Couple of players in Blue Hall. Snow looking to find these fights. Does do quite a bit of damage, in fact, and Lulu quick to clean up off the back of that 2 kills already for the Hero KDA. Third, a Strawberry Bagel chimes in. Delvinsky finally alleviates the bleeding with one of her own, but now it's a 4v2 numbers in favor of the Hero KDA. Iceling able to find that kill as well, and Delbinsky, she got the first, but she's gonna have to ace it out to clutch it, and it's just not gonna be happening. Iceling goes for the swing with all the confidence in the world and gets Hero KDA their pistol.
A great opening attacking round here from the Hero KDA, especially with Strawberry Bagel. Like, as soon as that fight was happening, you can see her already pushing through the triple, going around wide and catching a player like Somebody here off guard. And NYX, it's a big risk to try and swap out 2 players after, you know, the other 2 were doing pretty well from that map number 1. Obviously, Khan, she's got a big job on her shoulders, being that Sky, being that second in potentially after Delbsky, and you have to wonder if this is the right choice. It might be what they typically run on rotation wise, but it's always a factor you have to consider.
Seems like NYX, that first round, they just weren't really thinking about it, and it was clear from the positioning coming out as well. Talking about positioning though, now somebody able to find a bit of an advantage here, takes down Hannah as she tries to go down here. Strawberry Bagel though finds a trade, although in that post-death position, it will be the Pain Shells to take down Hannah. They're looking for a little bit more value. Lulu pushing through, able to find a kill, but somebody's still there for the still classic in hand though. Able to do the damage, and numbers in favor of NYX at the second. Iceling trying to equalize, trying to make it a little bit more even here. Khan goes for the peek, goes for the swing, gets the kill, and now it's a 1v1. Iceling has the HP advantage, does have the spike as well, and she's just gonna go over to that A side.
Yeah, barring a crazy shot here from Khan, this round should be heavily in the favor of Aisling. I think now on the default, so peek around here. Oh! And that's a crazy shot we were talking about. So Khan, big clutch for her, and NYX able to convert the eco somehow.
Just classics and surfs all the way through. We were talking a little bit about proactivity and position, and the fact that they were able to make that crunch work out. The first pressure, the first kill comes in on side from somebody, and off the back of that, right, you see displayed through the teleporter to be able to find a couple of kills, and of course the second trade as well from somebody really made the round possible here. It was Khan to close it out, of course, like you mentioned, an absolutely insane shot there, but all things considered, that was a team effort from NYX, and they do it so well.
Yeah, big statement from her. They're coming off the bench now, slotted to the play, and delivers just in the second round with a big eco clutch. So NYX back in a fighting capacity. Not that they never are, We've seen these thrifty rounds once again be such a threat whenever it's NYX at the helm of it. So Khan, big pick. It's Hannah who goes down, and while there is an orbital here for Aisling, Hero KDA just need a lot more actual picks off and damage to be able to commit such a big ultimate.
They feel like that A side is just not a good part of the map to try and venture in, especially with that smoke coming down. So they're looking to hit towards B instead, but there's still going to be somebody as well as Kachao hanging around here. Teammates on Orangutan, at least in the middle, but now going to be on a different team instead. Cypher setup still intact as well on B, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult as they try to aggress in. Camera does at least spot out the player inside the box, though. Kachao taking quite a bit of chip damage in the process, looking to fight, stay alive, maybe find a kill or two before going down, but it's just a headshot from a Lulu. Gets the Seekers off the back of that, and now the ultimates, they're finally going to be coming in for the side of the Hero KDA. Lulu with a second as well on the Sheriff, absolutely on fire here. The revive situation. Molly does burn them alive. They'll be able to find a couple of kills, but a Lulu with 3 on the round already, looking for a fourth, looking for the fight, will be able to convert it, and that will be the Hero KDA bringing back a Thrifty of their own.
Yeah, just responding thrifty after thrifty here, so it doesn't seem to matter if you have the better weapons as long as you have a team that can kind of use whatever strengths to their advantage, and that's what the Hero KDA are also capable of. They show right here, right now. It really was that big pick-off on Kachao within the site that allowed him to further secure an advantage, pick up the extra rifles, and NYX Kyosei also taken for a storm here. So Hero KDA, that was an absolutely spectacular round for them to convert.
They were so careful about it as well. They smoke out Kachao with the camera, go through off the back of that, and then they look to do some damage. Now hiding in the corner with the shorty in hand, able to find that first one, but Strawberry Bagel still there for the trade. However, the Whiskey with the paint shell will be able to find a kill, so that brings it back down to a 3v3. Neural Theft has revealed a couple of players on this particular site, so you can see the Hero KDA debating whether or not they want to push the issue. Kachao, though, might find the timing here, misses the shots, though, and Hannah quick for the punish. 2 players remain.
It's a hard break to see that. Kachao just, she had the timing on it as well, but a bit of a cold hand so far in this match number 2 to start things off. Could not connect. It's all now Dudelbsky, who simply is outgunned and outmanned in this case. So Hero KDA, they bolster your lead up to 3-1, but NYX, they have to start getting something back in return.
Unlucky for Kachao there. If she had been able to find that kill, that would have been the difference maker in that round. But nevertheless, despite the weapon disparity, at least some damage being done by NYX Kyosei. Still have a couple of ults to work with as well. In particular, that Showstopper, if it can be delivered in the right place at the right time, might be enough for NYX to really turn things around. But if that spike goes down black and blue, it's going to be so difficult because that orbital strike is going to be online as well. First pipe being taken, Strawberry Bagel runs Khan down, and that's once again first blood for the Hero KDA.
Strawberry Bagel, big pick off there. Denies Khan from being an even bigger nuisance here on the defense, but now pushing towards his B site.
Oh no.
Zhao, luckily saved by the blind, a double for her now. Hannah gets a trade off, but kills are working in the favor of NYX all the time. It's a 2v2 as they settle. They stand. Hookah is where they come from. And all alone here is going to be Snowkey. And the spike is just a bit too out of reach.
1v2 here. Snow towards the backside, 6 bullets left, trying to isolate these fights, runs out of bullets, runs out of positioning, and Delbisky with the push will be able to get that final kill. Next, they're keeping it neck and neck here. And what I really like about their play so far is how they're willing to really be aggressive towards that teleporter. More often than not, you don't really see that being a factor of play, but they just don't hesitate when it comes to these kind of pushes. Piety, of course, able to find the kill off the back of that orbital strike, and just like that, NYX, once again, flipping the tables and the script here. They win the round. Gonna be having the economy to barely buy up, although it's still on shaky ground here.
Well, still do have some economy to work with, at the very least here for NYX. It's a round where they can use to stabilize and reset themselves. Coming into this, Kachao finally comes online in that previous round, round number 5, after getting the double holding down the line. Not too sure if they're aware where the camera is. They don't spot out somebody here with a judge as well, so this could be really big for them. Pain shell for pain shell keeps him back in the lurk once again. Here from Slumber Big is huge.
Seekers come out, gonna be smoking out the position of these players. Now they know where somebody is if they were paying attention to the Seekers, but the flank is gonna be caught out by Iceling here. Second kill coming in for the Hero KDA. Now that they know that all three players are gonna be playing towards that site, A-side is completely free. Lulu's still hanging around as well towards elbow, able to make that crunch
Spike
even more
planted.
efficient, taking down the
Last
Chow.
player
The
standing.
judge as well from somebody, not gonna be finding any value, and now it's just Delbisky in a 1v5. Unenviable position, no economy for the team. It might be better for her to save, but Lulu doesn't want to let her do it. Finds the kill to boot, and the Hero KDA, they come back.
The Hero KDA here playing a really kind of methodical game on this attacking side, and it's been throwing NYX off because you can tell NYX Kyosei, they kind of assume it might be a commit every now and then, but it really hasn't been, as the Hero KDA a lot more fluid and flexible in terms of their decision making here on this attacking side. And this is where we did see the better half of them a while ago on Haven, and it really does seem so that the attacking side here from the Hero KDA, that mid-round decision making has been one of their biggest strengths.
They've been very good at also parceling out the use of their ultimates so that they can really find value off the back of them. Like that last round Seekers, for example, let Olulu make that quick call, possibly like, hey guys, you know what? This B-side doesn't look very nice. I think everybody's here. I think there was a judge in the corner that I heard. So she was just able to rotate them back over off the back of that one key piece of util that gave them the info that they needed. So Hero KDA, they still have that orbital strike on Iceling. They haven't really had the opportunity to use it because either they've been going down before the spike or just being in such an advantageous position that they haven't been really needing to commit it. And until that goes out of play, right? NYX just can't safely play inside that U-Haul area. That's just one area of the map that's completely locked off to them because of that ultimate and the threat that it poses.
Well, if we're talking about ultimates here, while the orbital might be available for Aisling, that can and that might be the sole one they've got online, they can really time that right and kind of shut down everything that NYX have got here if it does come to it. The Seekers and Hunter's Fury, a deadly combination, but on a thrifty like this, you kind of expect them not to commit too much into a round unless they do good damage, which we've seen thrifty rounds be quite effective so far in the series, but that could be a very different situation knowing at how it's positioned here towards the octagon. It's completely isolated, no real fight put up. Hunter's Fury doesn't connect on much of anything really, so this is looking pretty good for the Hero KDA.
Spike planted.
Just a little bit of bait and switch tactics once again. All the Sky utility keeping them distracted towards long, while Snow just satchels in and finds those kills. 3v5 retake, like you mentioned, Heidi does have that hero weapon available, but apart from that rifle, there's just not much in the arsenal of these players that they can really use here. They look to push forward, but the crossfire is just going to be Hannah finding the kills. The second one through the smoke, only one left to go. Shorty and Hannah, all the confidence in the world. Somebody does take her down. Snow there for the trade, to spam through the smoke to find somebody, and the Hero KDA extend their lead to 5.
Yeah, pushing forward and pressing onward. Hero KDA here have just not stopped after gaining these 3 rounds now in a row. Hunter's Fury as well. I'm not too sure if that's the best call to make in the 3v5 on Eco Thrifty as well to pull that out. I think it could have better been placed in a more important round to win like this upcoming one, and now they don't have really any big ult to kind of throw to stop down rather and slow down the push of the Hero KDA, who have a lot to execute with this orbital and nightfall too. So big pick from the Hero KDA, but fights just going their way still.
Yeah, singular peaks not really working out for NYX, although at least Con is able to win out her 1v1. Nightfall gonna be put in towards this A site as well. Neural Theft will reveal where these players are, and that might force them to rotate over. In fact, they're gonna be moving towards that B site. Still one left though, and they will just walk into the Chow's hands. 3 on the round. Two on the round already for now, just Olulu left in a 1v2. Both of them take the TP though, and they know exactly where she is. Khan runs her down, takes her out, and NYX, they resurge once again.
Yeah, big stop here from Kachao now. It wasn't a bad idea to take the teleporter there, considering, you know, the neural theft came up online. They knew that, okay, Showers is occupied, might be difficult to plant off of this, but still not able to anticipate Kachao being able to win those fights as effectively. The Hero KDA forced into a timeout here in the first half once more. They got lots of ultimates to throw now, but NYX Kyosei, even when they're at a disadvantage, still somehow have things falling into their favor. Well, I mean, as of the moment, in a situation like this, if you are in the position of NYX Kyosei and you don't have necessarily the best buy, you don't have the most opportune ultimates to throw out here, you only have that Seekers, then you are kind of in a tough rut, Zach, where what exactly can we do to try and gain an advantage early in the round? I would wager that NYX are going to try to go proactive here early, maybe towards that Showers. You can see Delbski and Piety already poisoning themselves up. They go for an early take, and knowing that the changes to bind on these teleporters have swapped that TP closer to Showers, it's even more important now to try and take that control early for the pinch, but now they're trying to play towards the B site instead here for the Hero KDA. And they're the Hero. They can once again take out this Octagon. That's going to be big. No stopper connects for Snowkey. A double for her. And simply no way for NYX to stop him.
Again, just not expecting Snow to come barreling in their face. Both
Spike
players
planted.
towards long, they're taken out. And once again, it's the unenviable position of NYX to be in a kind of 3v5 retake. Sure, at least they managed to bait out a couple of their ults on their opposition side. The flame from Piety as well, kicking in, able to find a kill, and she's going to have the orbital strike off the back of that. So this round suddenly looking a little bit more doable. Orbital strike going to be invested as well, but Iceland still in the corner, not going to be expected. Will be able to take down Piety, and now it's just still risky. 1v3, has to push it out to be able to close out the round, and will drop at that first obstacle as Strawberry Bagel. Well-timed peek and headshot to end things out here. And, you know, Black and Blue, NYX, all things said, even though they're kind of lagging behind, this is still much better than the last time they played this team on Bind, because it was 1 out of the 12 rounds in their defensive half that they won. So they're already 3 times up.
Well, I mean, in their case, how can you fault them? Especially with the way that they play. They're just so good at doing this attacking side that NYX have no response, no answer. And NYX have once again been dismantled in that kind of octagon, that long hold that they have, where a player like, you know, Snow is just able to single-handedly tear them apart, with that showstopper especially, to try and buy all that space, going around them through Hookah. And now once more, the Hero KDA simply taking full control of the B site. Hookah is still in control of NYX, but will that be enough to gain them a few picks off here in the retake?
Seems like the awareness is there though from the Hero KDA of this Hookah presence. Seeker's gonna be coming out now from NYX to smoke out the positions on the side. Surprised that they're investing it with this being an eco round. The clock is ticking as well. They gotta get into sight pretty soon. Khan watching the angle, trying to make sure that this defuse goes through the smoke, actually finds the kill. Ash is able to find a kill with the molly. Heidi goes down, but half the defuse is already through. All they have to do is really stick it. Delbinski with the Sheriff in hand has a showstopper, but no opportunity to pull it out. And the Hero KDA, they find 7 here for a second. It looked like NYX might have been able to stick it, but the Hero KDA, they're just too wise for that.
And look at their economy here, the Hero KDA, just a bountiful feast awaiting them. Khan does good damage too, but obviously the Hero KDA just a lot more equipped for the situation. If you're NYX though, the defense, this is where you'd kind of expect a team to kind of bunker things down, but once more, the Hero KDA, that B site has been proven to be quite an effective one for their attacking side, where it's looking like a liability for NYX. So you can see them kind of, employ 3 players now towards that B site, try and do something about it, because otherwise the Hero KDA have been abusing their openings on towards B.
They've just looked so coordinated when they do hit that B side, like that 1-2 crunch between Long as well as Hookah, and of course Snow being able to find those entries. 2 kills for her, not just that first time, but also almost every time she's gone towards that part of the map. It's been a little bit too much for NYX to deal with. That stack up towards B, though, it's been read once again by the Hero KDA. They get that A side basically for free. Showstopper gonna be invested by Delbitsky to push forward, try to clear out that Showers angle, but there's really gonna be nobody there. At least it does deny the plan for 1-for-1 trade so far, but this presence from U-Haul able to find a couple of kills by itself. Delbitsky still on site with Piety. They know where these last couple of players are.
It's a 3v3. Retake here for Kachow. Coming in from that backside, they have triple control. Hannah's gonna be a big problem here from the
30
Showers.
seconds
If
left.
they can't flush her out, she can time this right and get the two picks off. That's exactly what we're talking about. The double for Hannah. We know where Kachow is. He's fighting back. It's a 1v1 right now. She has that neural depth, but she gets the timing on Snow anyways. And NYX, hold on.
Last
Incredible
round before
round
the
coming out of
switch.
them. Kachow in particular towards the end to be able to just get that player out of the equation despite Snow looking healthier, despite Snow having the spike, despite this wraparound from Hannah. It could have been so deadly. Kachow does it all for the team, the kind of cipher that you really want watching your back and watching those cams for real. The Hero KDA though still have a couple of ultimates to work with. 4-7 now. They have a chance of extending their lead further with 8, but NYX Kyosei as well. Economy back in favor of them, so it could be a 50-50.
My ult's ready.
Oh, NYX Kyosei can end this half with a 5. Can certainly help gain them the confidence to come back with once more. We've seen incredible comebacks from this squad. The C's there. Oh, luckily Piety's able to TP up because he was surely dead to rights, but they commit the orbital strike to it. And now that leaves him without it to kind of retaliate against Piety's, who's at the ready with hers. Do the Hero KDA commit further towards his B site?
Does seem to be the call there. Of course, this alert from Strawberry Bagel could be incredibly important, but this time around, Piety will be the one to smoke her out. Second kill as well as
Spike
Con
down,
finds the
B.
timing onto Icelink. Huge kill there. No more smokes available. No more orbital strike either. Just like that, it's going to be NYX finding the kills across the board here. 2 players remaining. One towards Hookah. Kachow takes her down immediately. Neural Theft back online once again, and they know exactly where this last player is. Will be able to find that kill, and that will be a 5-7 half for NYX, who are definitely
Switching
fighting as hard
sides.
as they ever have on this particular map. But before we see if they can make that score look a little bit more even, let's see what our panelists have to say.
This is much better from NYX Kyosei right now, considering the last time that they saw the Hero KDA on Bind, right? It looks like they've picked up on a few things, and it looks like they're reading the Hero KDA a lot more comfortably now. They're not exactly in a super comfortable spot, though, Dax. Hero KDA could still swing this map in their favor.
I mean, things are a bit better for NYX Kyosei, and truthfully, the last 2 rounds were a welcome surprise for what we saw at the beginning of the first half, because you can already see the Hero KDA, they're so accustomed to the way that they play. They have the double initiator, including the fade for clearing out the corners. You see them get that space and make the way towards that site, and they have some strong post plants that have given them such a distinct advantage. But NYX at the very end, clutch and then critical shots. No other team has gotten more than 4 rounds before when defending against the Hero KDA. NYX have gotten 5, so there is still that chance to recover to the second half here, Mika.
Just a chance, though. We're gonna have to see how it all plays out as we step back into Bind. So let's throw it on over to our casters to see how the rest of this goes.
See how the rest of this goes. That feels like something we've heard before, Black and Blue, doesn't it?
Oh well, the last time we were kind of wondering how things would go for NYX, they just came back with an incredible kind of run of their own, right? So we're gonna have to find out for sure, but you can't never count out a team like the Hero KDA in this situation.
Yeah, they might be 1 map down, but this is their home ground, and they're still maintaining that slight lead from that previous half. So starting off with the pistol here, gonna be on the defending side now. If they can deny NYX the value, it might be what they need to really persevere going forward. NYX, the last time around as well, they were able to find 7 rounds in a row on this attacking side. But that said, it's just very difficult for the hero KDA because attacking is where Nick seems to excel. We saw it on Haven in action, the kind of momentum, the steamroll that they were able to build, and it seems to be the points once again. Cypher versus Cypher fight to start things off with, though. Kachao and Piety both finding the kills for NYX. Now 3 players remain, and the hero KDA is still looking for the fight here. Piety, though, able to find yet another kill, and now it's all down to just a Lulu. Gets run and gunned by as Delvisky just goes for the shot, and NYX, they find an extremely convincing pistol.
Quick and easy for them, at least the way they make it seem here, but just nothing going wrong at all for NYX. Just every single frag traded, every single angle marked, and Hero KDA stunned, it seems, for the opening pistol. But I mean, I don't think they're out of the woods just yet. If you're the Hero KDA, you can certainly bring a big fight to this, but full save is what they're gonna pull out.
Cam coming in to try and find some information. Snow gets spotted out as well by the recon, so paint shell for paint shell trade to buy some delay. Snow takes quite a bit of chip damage in the process, will be forced to fall back here. Kind of a 3 players stack towards the side, and it's gonna be read by NYX perfectly as they go for a quick rotate now. On this A site, still a couple of players playing behind the struck area in the smoke. Strawberry Bagel tries to make a play along with Hannah, but it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Strawberry Bagel still hanging around in that corner, and Kachao all the way towards spawn, able to find 2, able to find 3 in fact, and now it's just going to be Strawberry Bagel to find 1 more for NYX. They get to 7. You asked us before we got into the halftime here whether they can equalize quickly, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, swiftly, and no real fight put up by the Hero KDA. I mean, a nice attempt there by Hannah to get the 1. At least she got hers, but that's all they really wrote. It's coming now to the Hero KDA's pressure to try and convert with a few rounds of their own, to try and at least regain some sort of lead here, bring it 8-7 in their favor. But NYX have just shown to always be so tenacious in these type of rounds, and I wouldn't put it past them to do at least good economic damage to the Hero KDA here.
Yeah, they have a very eclectic buy, to say the least. But that said, it's the kind of buy that can really make things work out. Unfortunately, Smoke and the Hookah not going to be coming through. But that said, it's still going to be NYX getting away with their life. Again, going in for that quick rotation over towards this A side. U-Haul already taken by Kachao here. And Snow with the paint shells able to find the opener. The plants will go down. But that said, numbers advantage and weaponry still remain firmly in favor of the Hero KDA already. A quick retake attempt coming in. They're pushing the issue on this U-Haul area. The recon bolt does spot out a couple of players. Then the damage is being done. Lulu already with the first kill. Although somebody tries to chime back here. Heidi as well as Khan, the last 2 players left, trying to deny this here. First kill coming through for Khan. Orbital strike as well, but half the defuse has already been stuck by Iceling, taking advantage of that ultimate to reposition. Finds the kill off the back of it, and now it will just be Heidi to close things out. Beautifully played by NYX with that final 2v3. Wow.
And that's what I said, right? On those thrifty rounds, you can never count NYX out. On their bonus, especially here. Doing a great job of burning enough time towards that short position, being such a nuisance there towards that lamps position where somebody and Kachao just kept on being a big thorn in the side of the Hero KDA. They knew they had to clear them out first. And then when it came to the actual spike itself, great decision for Khan to cross on triple using that, you know, Brimstone ult as cover from that orbital strike and hitting them where they least expected. So NYX, they take the lead finally back.
An unprecedented state of affairs. I feel like there haven't really been teams that have taken the lead from the Hero KDA on this map so far. And now they're looking at it possibly slipping away even further. Again, the lurk from Kachao gets spotted out. So far, the pattern for NYX here has been to put pressure onto this B site. And after that, despite that, after that pistol round, they've just been going over towards A instead. That quick rotation off the back of Kachao, being able to find a lot of space on that site. So it's been very interesting so far. That said, though, it's still going to be a more heavier stack by these defenders towards his B side. Despite this weapon disparity, it's still going to be an advantage there
Here.
of a sort.
Well, the child certainly made a bit of noise here. And that's going to keep the defense to try and be a bit more wary of an A-side push to come. That recon is just going to confirm their suspicions. You can see the defense rotating already. They're going towards the opposite way, at least
30 seconds
coming
left.
from Olulu. Chow, great timing on this, gets the one. Could even pop the ult if they needed to, but just because it's only her, you see the defense doesn't rotate until they hear the TP out. Strawberry
One
Bagel
enemy
goes
remaining.
down, and everything working in the favor here for NYX Kyosei.
Spike
Hero
planted.
KDA. A real fight to be put up. Gets the one, but she's done.
again.
It's a 9th round now for NYX.
I like how Kachao didn't even bother putting down the neural lift. She was like, guys, I got A-side, just rotate over. Guess that first pick, it's going to be the same thing that we've seen out of NYX in these last couple of rounds. A quick pivot towards this A-side. And even though Lulu's able to find at least one, it's not going to be too much damage being done at all. And the second time out for the hero, KDA, going to be burned out here. Kind of feeling the pressure right now. 4 rounds in a row in this half for NYX, and they show no signs of stopping. This has to break their momentum, and for the hero KDA on this defense, they're just being teased and picked apart.
Well, Kachao felt like she didn't have to find out where they were, because it already seemed like NYX, they were just aware already of what the hero KDA's plans were, of what their setup was ever since the first pick off there. When she finds Snow, everything just fell into place, and they didn't even have to get the spike down before winning the round, as hero KDA read like an open book. And NYX Kyosei have just been marvelous at writing these tales and telling it in whichever way they want. And I mean, history remembers the victor. In this case, NYX, they might just be that.
Kind of the underdog heading into this LCQ as well, with Hero KDA being arguably the favorite thanks to their flawless Swiss stage. But NYX, they've been showing up more and more every single series that we've been seeing them. And yesterday they were once again considered an underdog when that veto came out, but they were able to power through. And this time it's no different either. We've been talking a lot about their history, but they're evolving Black and Blue throughout this tournament, right? Every single game just sees them looking better and better as they go forward. Talking about forward, though, it's going to be Snow taking an aggressive position towards this hookah area. Does, in fact, catch a shot onto Khan, so no heal really going to be forthcoming. The recon, though, that's going to spot out Olulu. 1-for-1 trade so far. Snow still able to get away with her life, and that's going to be one TP coming in and Piety getting a kill.
To at least get some kills going their way back in return. Snow does have the ultimate to throw out if it ever does come to it, if push comes to shove, but NYX Kyosei are going the opposite way. They're coming towards A. Tripwires set up at the ready here for Strawberry Bagel to capitalize off of, but if they get the plant down, that might give them the Seekers to utilize in this round. Tripwire triggered. Oh, but he being taken down though. They TP back and double round into B.
This is going to be empty as well. Smoke and Molly will give him the space to get into sight. However, Snow with the showstopper misses her window opportunity, and the Molly does so much damage as well. Still, though, throws it into sight, able to get the 3rd kill on the round and denies the plants. Piety looking to get it down further. Pain Shell's not quite connecting, and the flank already coming in. Pawn having to isolate and win out these fights in such a difficult position. It's just going to be the ace for Snow. All 5 on the round for her. All she needs, in fact. And the Hero KDA, they resurge after that.
Nice work.
Huge round here for the Hero KDA to retaliate with. Early push-up coming from them, especially Snow. Obviously, as she gets the ace, but I'm surprised she still gets this kill as somebody who was still placing herself in a position to be caught out by that, showstopper. Even with the Molly stopping them, you played a bit safer, but let bygones be bygones. It really speaks to the volumes of fight that the Hero KDA still have within them to return and retaliate with rounds like these.
Blinded.
See the wariness coming out of NYX here after that early push through hookah. Now looking to continue their momentum as they go towards long instead. Olulu still has quite a bit of stalling utility available. The Trailblazer will spot out a couple of players towards this long side. And with the lurks that Kachao's been finding, right? That's a little bit of nice adaptation coming out of Strawberry Bagel to try and catch her early on. Beautiful flash from Lulu. Gonna catch out both players, but they're not gonna be swinging off the back of it. So still NYX, they maintain their numbers. Oh
I
no.
don't know.
Oh
No way to
no.
expect this right. Big pick from Aisling, but that's the only one she's able to find before Delbski keeps her in check. The B site, the A site is mostly right for the JP. There is a lurk here from Strawberry Bagel. You just can't find the timing to get these kills.
Oh, the plant attempt comes in. Hannah puts down the Haunt, does catch out the player and able to find the kill onto Piety. Beautiful piece of utility there
30
to
seconds
just
left.
drop the spike onto site. Han finds a trade though, and now Strawberry Bagel on the flank will be able to put out the neural depth and catch out the positions.
remaining.
But still,
Last
Han,
player
she finds the
standing.
kill, makes it down to a 1v1. Snow has control of the spike, knows that Delbisky has to come for her, and Delbisky does indeed take her out of the equation. NYX, they find double digits here, 10-8.
Nice pick off from Delbski in the clutch. The 1-1. Hannah did a good job as well of trying to whittling down their numbers, but no matter how many great attempts there were here coming from the hero KDA, it's just simply NYX always able to shoot themselves out of these bad situations, which has been one of the biggest strengths of them. Like, you'd rather not be put into a bad spot, but when it comes down to it, when you're in a bad spot, sometimes you need a hot hand and a fiery gun. And that's exactly what the NYX Kyosei squad has in spades.
In particular, like, Kachao has been a menace on this map today. This entire attacking half, she's just been this menace lurk that has finally been taking care of Aisling. Puts her out of her very early. Lulu on a prowl as well, looking for a little bit more value with the Spectre. In fact, able to do quite a bit of damage, leaving only somebody and Delbisky in this fight. Another kill coming through from Hannah as well. Now it's just somebody, Guardian in hand, looking to save this round from slipping completely away. You're gonna be hunted down though. Another player pushing in from the spawn, and somebody with only a Guardian has to find these fights, but there's just no favorable position for her so far.
Revealing area.
Yeah, no way this works out like this. You can tell that NYX Kyosei just backed off. Seemingly threatened here by the push of hero KDA, and
just me and a bottle
come
of
away
scotch.
with a free round really off the Thrifty again. How many Thrifties are we going to see in this map alone? NYX Kyosei kind of being fearful of hero KDA. There comes a point where you must respect the opponent, right? But you also can't be too wary of them in that case, and that's exactly what happened. Getting to their heads, and hero KDA capitalizing off of kind of like the unexpected pace they throw at NYX Kyosei.
Completely unexpected as well. Like, you saw how fast Lulu was basically in their spawn. She just ran it down with the Spectre. So I guess when you're in a tough position, you might as well try to make the most of it. Now you do see a little bit of change of pace coming out of the NYX squad. They look to attack towards this A side instead, trying to make it quick, but the stalling utility is going to be a little bit too much for them to really deal with. Now Showstopper coming out of Delbisky, not going to be able to find any value, and the orbital strike instead from Aisling got to be put out early, although everybody's already on site. Con finding a couple of kills of her own and will be pushed off the angle with the Nightfall, but still the kills, they're coming in from both sides here, looking for a little bit more. Strawberry Bagel pushing through, going forward, runs out of bullets, and Delbisky shuts her down. 2v2 situation. Site with them pushing forward, Heidi fakes the plant, but Lulu with the flash still finds the kills, and in this trade battle, Hannah will be the one to come out on top, equalizing things 10-10.
Scrappy round here for the hero KDA, but it also wasn't the most favorable buy for NYX Kyosei, and not able to convert, so now they're put in a precarious spot. Now they probably have to eco and potentially give up, you know, the lead that they worked so hard to claw back for. It's the hero KDA who now are just in a great position to extend this into map 3, or at least secure match point. They do have the Seekers. Showstopper should be available very soon as well. And with the weapons advantage, they might be able to simply wrestle control away early here from NYX.
Oh my god. Alright, an early kill to come out of Khan already. Expecting them to go for the orb. Not able to punish the one who does take the orb, but still gets a kill. And now looking for a little bit more towards this shower side. Khan finally falling back here. Does have the seekers available, but the gun is not going to be in a very retrievable position. Hunters here invested as well to try and clear out the showers area, but just not connecting with anybody. Does at least net NYX a little bit of space as they will make it forward onto site. Teleporter now gonna be taken. A quick pivot over towards E instead. Nabisky already being able to satchel forward, but goes right into backside. Will be taken down by Olulu. 5 HP on Olulu still. Will be able to kill up her teammate. And now NYX, they're gonna be surrounded on all sides. Already Snow through the TP, able to find yet another kill. And now just 2 players remain here. Snow gonna be taken out finally. But still Kachao and Khan, they have so much to deal with here. Forced to fall back.
30 seconds left.
They've at least done good damage into this just to kind of tag Olulu up, but obviously there's way more to ask of NYX Kyosei to be able to convert around like this, kind of wrapping around Hero KDA. There's a big shot from Kachao. Still though, a sliver of health for either side. Plant will not go down, and Strawbagel shuts any hopes and dreams for that round, but it still comes pretty close. I'm wondering though, now that we move into the final act of regulation, what do NYX Kyosei come out with?
That was a very interesting round as well for NYX, because it could have completely changed if any of the weapons that they had taken down were retrievable. Like, you saw Khan get a kill towards Shower, immediate smoke from the Hero KDA to deny the rifle being picked up. I know it's kind of a similar case towards the B side. All the kills that they were gotten were towards CT, and there was just no way to really pick up those weapons. Now, for this round, they have the Orbital Strike as well as that Neural Theft available. Might be the ult to really let them play post-plan. We saw how they were able to convert the bonus off the back of that. That said, though, the Hero KDA, they are stacking up on this A side. They really don't want to let NYX get the spike down at all.
Well, that camera confirms that Delbski is present there, coming towards Hookah. Most of the push, though, the brunt of it, here towards this Octagon. Trapar will get eaten by the Trailblazer. Kachao needs to time this right. He can get a pick off, that's going to be huge, but Strawberry Bagel wins the fight. Neural Theft gives him a bigger picture of the situation, and now NYX are forced to have to rotate. Kachao could not find a kill as well, and things are looking disastrous right now for NYX Kyosei, as the Hero KDA have every advantage. Hannah's trapped in a corner. They get the scan, but she's still in fighting capacity.
Down A.
Now it's going to be a 2v5 situation. The wraparound as well. Lulu pushing forward, taking down somebody here. Now it's just Khan left alone. 37 HP and a dream. And Strawberry Bagel from the back will take her down to boot, bringing the Hero KDA to match point. It was a long time coming, and it looked a little bit dicey in the middle, but they were able to not just come back, but also steal away the lead again. This is the kind of Hero KDA we're used to seeing on Bind, and they're just much more dynamic, it seems like, in these last few rounds, the way they're handling the map, forcing that second timeout to come out of NYX's side as well, to ensure that they can possibly close this out 2-0.
Yeah, ever since kind of like that Thrifty round was won here by the Hero KDA, it seems like NYX Kyosei lost a lot of confidence and a grasp of the situation on what to do. You can see that they've kind of lost a bit of that explosiveness that we saw earlier in the map and during map number 1 too as well. Especially, they have been completely mitigated in terms of what normally is a threat when you're coming up against NYX. The Hero KDA have been dissuading that and considerably finding out where they are, and you can see that NYX, they just aren't on top of the situation in terms of making the right decision anymore in some of these rounds. Now that, you know, ever since after, you know, Hero KDA won that Thrifty round where they pushed him all the way towards market.
That Thrifty round, really the linchpin upon which this attacking half has devolved for NYX Kyosei. Things looking a little bit dicey now. Economy not in the greatest position. Only the Neural Theft really to work with here. The saving grace for them is that their opponents don't really have any ultimates either. And with these kind of weapons, it's better if they can get into a close range battle. But so far, the Hero KDA, they're not really biting. They're not being super aggressive either. They're just happy to try and take these fights with as many advantages as possible. Now that Trailblazer is going to spot out at least 2 or 3 players towards this long side, but despite that, NYX, they still want to push the issue on this B site.
NYX Kyosei right now, difficult spot to be in. Match point already facing them. And only really that Phantom and Khan being true rifle in their hands. As Hero KDA simply have burned quite a considerable amount of time here off the clock for NYX Kyosei, who haven't been really proactive in trying to change up the plan, trying to fake out the defense. They're coming here, but they have to win this fight. They get the scan off of Hannah, but every single gunfight is blowing their way. And NYX Kyosei dismantled. 5 women remain standing here, 5 players still on the bout, and once more, confidence seemingly shaken out of NYX Kyosei.
Absolute dominance coming out in those last few rounds. It seemed like that thrifty, like you mentioned, Black and Blue, was what they really needed to mentally reset on Bind. And kudos to NYX here. They tried really hard. They in fact had the W streak going into that attacking half, but once those couple of linchpin rounds happened, they just weren't able to bounce back into the full swing of things. And the Hero KDA, they're able to push this to a map 3. We're going to be having Fracture coming up next, but looking at this map, I feel like what NYX really made work out for them was those impactful lurks coming in from Kachao. So many rounds you saw her just catch out a couple of players, find a kill or 2, and then be able to cause a rotation for the team to come in, but she wasn't able to do that towards the end of the game, and I think that was a factor. But hey, that's not my job. We have a panel to talk about what exactly these two teams did. So Mika and Dax, take it away.
Thank you so much, Zach. Why are you stealing our job, huh?
I mean, she can have it, you know. I don't mind. I'm happy to be
we
here.
value Zach's opinion here, and she is the encyclopedia of game changers, as we do know. Exactly.
All regions, by the way, not just here EU.
That
as
is
well
right.
as
That
NA.
is right. She is a multi-regional talent, and we are very, very proud of her. But we are also very, very proud of the Hero KDA for managing to pull out this map. This was so close, Dax, and I feel like, you know, those last few rounds were so painful for NYX Kyosei, just because I feel like they lost it right when they needed it the most. Oh.
It felt like that they had something, right? They had something to work with when they won that bonus courtesy of Con. Just how they were circumventing one another between the two teams. You could see the elation there from NYX Kyosei. But I keep telling you, Mika, when the Hero KDA needs it the most, someone steps up. And while Olulu is our MVP yet again, doing an incredible job with consistency all throughout the map, I'm gonna give my award to Snowkey. Not only the incredible ace that we saw to answer back, the final round where she got that 3K. Overall, it's again, when the Hero KDA is in a predicament, they're able to dig themselves out with someone leading the charge.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I give my award to Snowkey as well. She not only was able to, you know, clutch in those rounds where they really needed it. It was more of like a, I could kind of feel that she was like the one motivating the squad, right? It's like if she got that A, she got those 3Ks, whenever she'd pull out the clutch, there was kind of like this the squad was reinvigorated. You know, they suddenly had that fire rekindled again whenever she would pull through. And I feel like that was her role, and that's why she was so pivotal, because you could feel that momentum swing as well when they would win those rounds, right? And that's why this map was so dicey, so painful for NYX Kyosei, but such a morale boost for the Hero KDA.
I mean, to be fair for NYX Kyosei, this is the best performance we've seen from any team against the Hero KDA on Vine. But truthfully, I love their composition and the way that they've been playing. It's a little bit more on the old school side. We're running Sova and the Sky together. Sure, you're gonna get Incel, but perhaps that's why people have shifted more to a double controller meta instead. It really feels like here for NYX Kyosei that they've been trying to figure out what composition works, and they use their talents and their individual familiarity to play a map like Vine. But as a team, as a unit, it's the Hero KDA with stellar calls courtesy of their MVP Olulu. I still remember, Mika, that one round where the casters were saying maybe NYX Kyosei was a little too giving to the Hero KDA, because the Hero KDA pushed towards market, got that thrifty, and you wouldn't get calls like that without Olulu on this roster.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the belief that you'd be able to pull something like that off either, right? That willingness to just push forward and still stick to it, even though there was just a small chance that they would do it, and turns out that small chance was all they needed. I think that for NYX Kyosei, they shouldn't let this get to them. As you mentioned, Dax, this was actually a huge win for them. This was a good performance from them. Yes, the last few rounds were probably like frustratingly painful, but they were not bad rounds in any case, right? There still is a lot of momentum going over on their side. They could potentially bring it back, but Fracture, this is another one. We're back. It's back to zero. It almost feels like we're back to map one over here between these two teams because who knows? Who knows who's going to take it now? But it is going to be our series decider. It is going to be the final map for this one. So we will get into it right after this very quick break.
Defend.
We wanna get it crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. We wanna get it crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, and everybody in between. We are now down to our final map for this series. We're heading into Fracture with the hero KDA and NYX Kyosei. And I feel like right now, Dax, again, we are back to zero with these two. There are momentum swings in both sides, I feel like. And I think, like, for NYX Kyosei, these roster shuffles that they're doing in the middle of the series, you know, it could be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, but honestly, going back to that second map, they did get Con and Capricious or somebody now back, right? They still stuck around with Kachao and she did perform, but there's always still that whole chemistry, that synergy that you don't want to be doing during the tournament itself. You want to build that in scrims, build that in earlier experience. And speaking of experience, we go to Fracture yet again as a decider. Two things we said before, that both NYX and the hero KDA have played against one another here, and the hero KDA took it. But the second most important factor right now I want to bring out, Mika, is while for NYX, this map has been mostly their experience here in the LCQ. For the hero KDA, this is one of their most played maps in their history all throughout the year.
We've been seeing a lot of Fracture action lately in LCQ, and right now I feel like this previously has favored the hero KDA, especially since, as you mentioned, most played map here, lot of experience, very, very warm, coming in very hot on this map. For NYX Kyosei though, this is a revenge match once again. The previous time that these two teams met up, the score was 13-5 in favor of the hero KDA, and I feel like for NYX Kyosei, they have to make sure that that Vine map did not get to them. Those last few rounds of that Vine map, they have to make sure that that mental reset is indeed, you know, clear, and they have to be able to bring it back really, and just think that, like, okay, this map won again, we have to restart.
Well, you know who has their mental reset? The hero KDA. I'm always excited to see their post-game cams given a 3-map series, just because they're the most emotional. They're just like, okay guys, we actually did it. We're gonna go for a 3rd map. And speaking of their emotions, I feel like when they get control, they are so good at keeping cruise control going. You saw that streak by the tail end of Bind. The hero KDA is that kind of team that once they're able to get on the gas, they can run away with these kind of games, and it's been the storyline for them for multiple series all throughout the LCQ.
I wonder what we're going to be seeing coming out of NYX Kyosei, especially since, you know, they do, well, if they do have Capricious, somebody rather, and Khan on there, you know, they can be game changers indeed for this map, right? Especially on the Sova, especially on the Brim. But I'm interested to see if we're going to be seeing the Neon coming out from Delbisky.
I think really maybe a shift from the roles so far. We've seen that a bunch from NYX already, and they've done so on this map. One thing I want to pretty much highlight though is because of the hero KDA, it was NYX changing up their composition on this map. They used to run that Cypher on Fracture, and then they changed over to the Chamber after losing to the hero KDA, and when they lost again, and when we saw them versus Demon Topaz, they went for the Killjoy. So there's been a bunch of Sentinel shuffles so far. You also mentioned, of course, how we did see Delbisky on the Neon instead of somebody, so there is that dynamic of a shift. So with all of those changes that NYX has, is it gonna be enough to throw the hero KDA for a loop when on the other side, the hero KDA, everything is more structured, everything is set in terms of the composition, and while they fell apart versus Neons, they got back their confidence against Nana and Friends. So you're back to a reset, rekindle the hero KDA, and this is what we were talking about. We knew it was gonna go for a game 3, Mika. We knew that for both of these two teams, they would be getting their map picks, but now the advantage is for the hero KDA, given the history we have established so far.
It is the final day here at LCQ, right? Why not? Why not bring it all the way? And not to mention that, you know, again, whoever wins this map, whoever wins this series, is going to go straight out of the frying pan and into the fire, going up to face Neons in a best of 5. So that's like, this is only the start for whoever will be the victor. So I am not sure indeed who could possibly take this. I do believe in both teams. Of course, there is a little bit of that ratio as NYX Kyosei, but the hero KDA also has such an interesting storyline here. Snowkey, by the way, I do have to point out, she was like for Dax and I, like our MVP pick, so to say, just because of like how impactful her rounds were, right? I think she's coming in hot. She's, she's feeling herself right now, and that, that sort of like rallying cry, right, from her being able to clutch out so many rounds could be, that second win that the Hero KDA needs to get into Fracture.
Yeah, and while I agree with you, Mika, we've already said our hymns of praises about Snowking in the last map. I think you still need to continue on the incredible performance of Alulu over the past few series. Ever since we've seen the Hero KDA in the lower bracket, she's been stepping up immensely, not just in the communication, of course, but also in the battlefield itself. So just setting that example is a standard here for the Hero KDA. I look for NYX, and for once, I have seen 7 people so far, I believe, play on this roster today. I think there is a chance.
Never
perhaps,
thought we'd be saying that.
I think there's still a chance we can get an 8-player on, because if we had Shuni already, I'm trying to think. So if Shuni's here already,
We did
Sheena
have
is still. Sheena's in the roster. I don't know. Okay, there's just so many factors right now for NYX Kyosei. But one thing, of course, that we can say so far is they've been playing out of their minds over the past few days, and they had that chance to win on Bind. If they can just recover from that, get back with the same kind of standard that they've been playing so far here, Mika, then they're gonna also still stand a chance on Fracture, given what they did against Steve and Topaz.
Right now, we are heading into Asian Select. It looks like we are seeing the Neon indeed, looking very closely at the roster for NYX Kyosei. And it looks as though we will still be seeing somebody and Con on there, along with Kachao. The Biscuit and the Neon, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, and it goes to show that without Shuni here for NYX Kyosei, it's Piety moves over to the Brimstone, because Kachao is an incredible anchor central player. She's been finding her form so far in this series. It's really the true test for her and NYX Kyosei, because the Hero KDA, you already know it's clear cut. We've seen how strong Aisling has been in many of these corners, how Olulu can just set up a single lane for herself and Hannah on the other. Be fearful when the two initiators have their ultimates, because the Hero KDA, usually on any side of Fracture, whether you're attack or defense, you have 4 angles to consider. Immediately, 2 will be controlled by the Hero KDA, thanks to just them.
I love how, the Hero KDA, it seems as though they have such crucial agents in play to be able to hold all of these angles here on Fracture. And I think that, for NYX Kyosei, we know them as a little bit of a chaotic team with the Neon on there. Like, I'm all for it. I'm all for, playing in an exciting and a little chaotic way. We do know that works well for a lot of very successful rosters. So who knows? Perhaps that's their X factor coming in here. But let's get into it. Our final map of the first series of the day. So casters, take it away.
Thanks a lot for that, Mika and Dax. Map number 3 coming up here, Black and Blue, and the winner of this, they move on to that lower final to decide who will be making it to Elite, and the loser, well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to them for the rest of the year. I know we heard a lot from the panel about these Asian comps, about these play styles, and after having watched the first 2 maps, what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, I kind of heard them kind of talk about the whole mental game a while ago, and I hope so that they can reset themselves, because it really did seem like after that market push on Bind a while ago, NYX Kyosei just lost their head in the game and simply could not make, more delicate decisions into the fold. So if you are them, they have to have taken that time to kind of reset themselves after the break, because we're going into what could potentially be really their final outing here if they can't recover from that. So another map here that the Hero KDA are very, very well experienced in, and that's never the best stat to be coming into a series like this for. But NYX Kyosei, I'm sure that they have what it takes to make it happen. The question is, will it happen today?
It's an excellent question. I mean, NYX Kyosei, they surprised us yesterday as well, right? When they were playing against the likes of DV and Topaz, this being a map that they're not as favored in, so as to speak, but they surprised everybody by taking that stomp of a 13-3 victory. So we talked a bit about momentum, we talked a bit about resetting. Hopefully they've been able to do both of those things heading into this particular map. Now, going to be on that defensive side once again, trying to get it over with, so as to speak, because NYX, they look a little bit more successful on attack on both the maps that we've seen so far. And as for the Hero KDA, they're going to be taking out this underpass area first before they look into going onto this B side. Con, that first point of contact with the jiggle, does spot out a player. So that's some information garnered. Though already the utility combination, it's coming in. B side, it's going to be the target of approach. 4 players attack towards tower, and Con just can't do anything against that onslaught. Site, it's going to be completely taken. 3 kills already going through for the Hero
player
KDA.
standing.
The flank is well caught out by Hannah, just so aware here. And now it's just going to be Kachao. A 1v5 has to find something, anything, but will only find her dead.
It's only the Hero KDA finding things going their way in this opening round of the pistol. Just completely overrunning Khan here. She just wasn't expecting that much to come her way. I can't believe you done this, she might have said.
4 in the tower. Just imagine going for a jiggling peek away. Like, wait a minute, why are there 4 people here? Hello? Yeah, that's a yikes.
Let
not
the
just
floodgates open.
There's not just the people. Is to make things worse. There's also the concussion from Ululu. There's just nothing that she could have done in that position. Oh, poor Khan goes down, but well, goes down fighting at the very least. That said, for NYX, no economy, just gonna be pistols across the board. Couple of sheriffs on Khan and Dabiski, but aside from that, not much else. And for the Hero KDA, it's a bit of a weird buy. 3 Spectres, a sheriff on Strawberry Bagel, which is honestly all she needs, so I understand.
Well, a hearty attempt is better than no attempt at all, so he can come away with that one for the meantime. As a flawless is what they were able to convert. Can they do so once more now that they have even more of a firepower advantage in the previous round? Come into it onto the B side. 2 kills at least being found here by NYX, but for the most part, Hero KDA, they have control of the site, and it's going to be a lurk off the flank to come in from NYX to try and maybe wrestle back some control from Arcade.
First point of contact here, gonna be the Spectre towards tower. Spots out both players, so will be falling back after taking that chip damage. All of them look to converge onto site now. 3v4 situation overall. 3 towards main, 1 towards tower. Spike gonna be smack in the middle of both of these, so it's gonna be pretty difficult to really make that defuse work out. A Molly as well. The first is broken, the second one triggered, so
One enemy
can't really
remaining.
hold down the Spike. Lulu and Iceling between them, taking out everybody they can find, and Strawberry Bagel for the final kill to net the Hero KDA their anti-eco without too much trouble.
2-0 so far. Maybe not a flawless, but they came pretty close to it, so nothing too bad just yet. And on a map like Fracture, the panel was talking about the fact that, you know, Fracture is a map we've been seeing a lot this LCQ, and I'm glad we are, because they're removing the map from rotation, and it's honestly one of my favorites to see. I think it's very interesting for the competitive scene to see how diverse teams approach this. And in that same vein, with NYX picking this Neon plus the Sova to accompany it with a Breach, it's not exactly now groundbreaking. We've seen teams kind of run a similar comp, you know, in other regions, but it is one that is a bit unorthodox, and you'd love to see these type of teams and see how they convert these type of compositions and make it work. As an equal trade happens here towards A main, the A side flooded, and it's all Hero KDA's.
Spike planted.
1-for-1 trade towards main as well. Snowkey finding yet another onto somebody. Their huge kill to be able to take her down, and will be falling back to boot. So additional pressure being dealt here. Con finally being able to stop the bleeding. Still has some utility to work with. Almost shocks herself, and that's going to be enough for Lulu
enemy
to really
remaining.
push forward.
Last player
Again, though, the
standing.
numbers, they're just going to be maintained by NYX here. 1v1 now at the end. Kachao trying to isolate this fight, signal it out, doesn't know where exactly Hannah's playing, although that Prowler is going to give away the location. The clock is ticking as well, has to go forward, going to be caught by the C's here,
C's.
not going to be able to hear anything either, and just like that, Hannah's brought enough time to convert this bonus, all that she really needed to do. The kill as well to close it off, the icing on the cake, and the Hero KDA, they start with 3-0.
We could finish this with
That
our
was a
eyes
big
closed.
seize coming from Hannah. Literally just, as soon as she connected that, she won the round. She won the clutch. There's no way that the push would have been close enough here for Kachao. She wouldn't have been able to get a sideline off her, and that seize just being perfect. So Hannah coming in big with utility. We talked about her clutch potential a while ago. It finally coming to the fold here, but that's a painful round for NYX to lose. Kyosei, after the quick 2-0 opening of this, you know, map, just also losing the anti-bonus is a painful one to concede.
Yeah, it's very rough for them, especially with how scrappy that round got in the end, coming down to a 1v1. Just excellent trading and spacing overall coming out from the Hero KDA side to be able to manage that. Now, once again, setting their sights towards this B site. It's been through towers so far, the pushes, so this B main tactic is a little bit of a new one for them. They look to go forward off the back of that recon, not going to be able to spot anyone. And despite that being the case, they're looking to fall a little bit flat and maybe go in through the other side.
Well,
Careful.
if they can catch him off guard here, that would be even more into their favor. The Hero KDA shot does not connect from Kachao. The swift take is what they're trying to do here of the tower, but Kachao keeps Snowkey in check. And Khan going big, a double for her. Trade comes in for the Hero KDA still though. Good damage down. It's on the Strawberry Bagel who cannot find the fruitful basket to pull this clutch off. It's a 1v3, and as it stands, 1-3 the score shall be.
That was a bit unfortunate on the reload timing there for Strawberry Bagel. Could have possibly found another kill, and of course, like you mentioned here, Khan on site, just being able to find that double up was insane. Gonna be able to net NYX their first round, and we've seen the kind of momentum that these Thrifties can spark off for both of these teams. Off the back of that, Khan gonna have the Hunter's Fury as well, a perfect counter to the lockdown of Strawberry Bagel. Now though, for NYX at least, they're gonna have to be proactive about how they want to play this, and that does seem to be the call as well.
Found them.
Now here's KDA. Taste of their own medicine. Quick kill here from Khan, but luckily Kachao's there to support as Snowkey was on ready up for the trade. That's a 2v4.
One enemy
Strawberry Bagel
remaining.
here in Hannah. Difficult attempt from them to try and come out to get the spike back under control. And NYX should be able to swiftly tie up, rather close up the lead here. 2-3.
Just Hannah with the Sheriff now. Spike not under control either, so she has to try and find the kill here. Goes for the wide swing, but might be more than ready for it, and that will be the second round coming in for NYX. Kyosei suddenly being able to find themselves back in this map and lose the momentum. And of course, Khan once again starting things off here with that kill. Back up from Kachao as well to find that trade. Excellent work coming out of NYX. Kyosei finally looking to read their opponents and understand their playstyle a little bit better.
Well, to read the situation, NYX, if they gain momentum on the defensive side for the first half, it's not going to bode well here for the KDA.
I'm out of
You want this attacking side to be your most fruitful when it comes to a map like Fracture, and NYX so far have quickly kind of closed up that small early gap. Your
Face
KDA,
your fear!
no reason to panic just yet. They've got lots of ultimates to throw. The Nightfall being one of them, expended already. The site is mostly clear for them to try and take out. It's about kind of keeping them at bay. The defensive setup here. Delsky and Kachao going big. Everybody here for NYX just being such a problem for the Hero KDA to try and flush out.
Just falling like flies. 3 players get shut down as they try to make their way onto site, but are completely denied here. Just Iceling and Strawberry Bagel now
One
left
enemy
in
remaining.
a 2v5.
Spike
Make that a
down A.
1v5 as Piety finds a clean headshot. Kachao aware of the positioning as well, spots out the arm, and will be able to find that final kill to tie things up here. NYX, you talked about it. The attacking side, often what teams end up favoring, but NYX finally able to bounce back on this defensive, and they're able to match the ultimates coming up from the Hero KDA on the opposite side. And in fact, that's going to be a timeout possibly called by the Hero KDA here to ensure that they can continue dominating. They're dominating spree rather on this particular map.
You can see that NYX were less occupied with trying to anchor down on the site in that previous round and more of just creating a kill box for them to punish the Hero KDA. They let them in, and little do they know they were ready for the Trap Hunter's Fury, a few other kills on Hero KDA who are trying to find out where exactly they were, and they kept them from extending further into different domains of control, kept them from pushing into A main as they came from drop, kept them from pushing into the ropes as they came in from sands, and if NYX can continue to do that, kind of set up these traps where Hero KDA are lured into coming in, that can be great for them. So if you're the Hero KDA now, that's going to make them more wary of situations that might look a little too good to be true.
Good to be true. I feel like that is kind of the story of the run though so far for NYX Kyosei, right? You see them start off immediately knocked down to that lower bracket almost, and now they've been making a fiery run the way back up. But it could be it's the opposite for the Hero KDA. They're a team that was the favorite seed heading into this, but them dropping to the lower bracket almost unexpected, so as to speak, and now both of them fighting for their lives in this LCQ. Early execute coming in. Snow with the showstopper taking up so much space with the site. Hondo in the corner denies it. Finally being shut down by the showstopper, but still the timing gotta be there. 1-for-1 trade so far. You can see Snow looking to find at the gun. Will be able to retrieve it. That's a huge pickup. And now the retake setup. It's gonna be Kachao watching for the lurk here. Hannah caught out of position, caught off guard. Snow taken down to boot, and now it's just a 1v3 Lulu. We've seen her do such incredible things in the past, but on the side, not able to isolate the angles. Kachao just shuts her down, and just like that, NYX, they are ready for their opponents. Completely 4-3.
That could have quickly been a disastrous round there for NYX if maybe Snow was able to get a kill or two towards our ropes, and maybe if Lulu was able to find the pick off on Kachao potentially in that 1v3 as the other two were stunned. Some close moments, but at least NYX were able to keep him at bay, and they burned the showstopper off of the attacking Hero KDA side. So definitely going to benefit them moving forward as well here, knowing that that wasn't a round they had to concede, and now they've got a bit more of their own to kind of throw back. Luckily for the Hero KDA, they still got ultimates here to utilize as well. And now that they're applying to split this A side, potentially this Rolling Thunder could be a very big piece of ult that can suddenly shut them down, considering how forward NYX are playing.
The thing is that there is a lockdown available for that lockdown, and while the Rolling Thunder can enable the Hero KDA to get the site, there's still so much that they have to contend with when it comes to these ultimates. They can't even afford to use the orbital strike for the post plant unless that lockdown has already been dealt with, because that's the only counter that they have at this juncture. Gonna be Strawberry Bagel to take that first point of contact, not able to connect the shot, so will be falling back. It seems like the spike itself is headed towards his B side, and NYX, they are able to find that huge opener. Kachao finding the angle just in time, the recon as well, but even more information. Khan tries to push out and make the play, but it's not going to be enough. Lockdown finally going to be initiated. Now, Rolling Thunder to boot. Flank coming in. Delbiscuit finds the kill. Looking for a little bit more. The second to boot as well. And now it's just going to be Strawberry Bagel in a 1v4. No, they know exactly where she is, though, and somebody will shut her down to get NYX the lead again.
5 rounds now in a row NYX have been able to string. Well, you're wondering if they can recover coming from that map number 2 when it almost was looking pretty good to be theirs, but no doubts about that this time around. Just looking way more confident, way more settled in these rounds, and less kind of thrown for a spin the same way here, counterintuitively to how the Hero KDA are, where you can see a lot of times they're seemingly lost or things are moving at a pace faster than they expect, and NYX are doing a great job of changing up that tempo to make it difficult for the Hero KDA to adjust.
Yeah, usually you expect the Hero KDA to be the one setting that tempo, but NYX, they're just better at stopping it now. Burning alive here, Kachao with the setup, able to shut down Snow, doesn't even get a chance to use that shotgun. And once again, first blood, it's going to be going into NYX's pockets. A couple more players trying to push the issue on the tower, but Kachao still going to be an absolute menace here. A couple of judges now sitting in here. Kachao wants nothing to do with it, and she's just going to fall back.
That's a perfect setup from Kachao to shut down any notions of hastiness, of aggression to be pushed in from that rear tower side. And because there wasn't any push coming from B main, there was nobody to get the trade off of her pushing and pulling back, reeling from that fight. That's a 4v5 and heavily in favor of NYX right now. We know they kind of got Hero KDA here in a bit of a predicament. Now, where do they commit to? It seems like A is where they want to rotate, but if that's the case, NYX have just a lot to keep on tap
30
in this
seconds left.
situation.
Hannah trying to create a little bit of a distraction here. Going back up, does in fact find the kill with the Judge. So Kachao, she's going to be going down. That side though, the spike, it's going to be rotating back towards this B side. Still, Khan trying to play spoil sport here around this tower. Hanging around, has to find a kill into Hannah. Does in fact do so. And now with 10 seconds left, they have to plant on this B side. They're going to be rushing in. Khan, she has the positioning, has the timing, but Lulu shuts her down. The spike's going to be dropped. And unfortunately, just no time for the Hero KDA to manage to do anything with the round. Sure, they pick up a couple of upgrades. They were able to get that spike down to boost their ultimate economy, but aside from that, NYX, they are, like you mentioned, Black and Blue, just so in control of this map right now.
Yeah, and economic damage isn't even that important for them from that round because NYX have just so much to continue buying up into the next part of this half. If I'm doing my math right as well, no matter what happens at this point on, they should be able to buy up for the next few remaining rounds of this entire half. So the Hero KDA, I mean, nice attempt there, just kind of dry out for time in their idea, but that's a bit more of what they have to do. Keep things unpredictable to keep NYX on their toes.
I feel like this is a kind of change of pace that we're not really used to from the Hero KDA. They've been kind of methodical so far, but now they're trying to get into side. Shocked out already from Khan, able to take down Snow, who was tagged up heavily by that Molly. Utility-wise, just so much damage being done here. Rolling Thunder coming in as well from NYX, but despite that, it's going to be Strawberry Bagel to find the kill here. Looking for a little bit more, pushes in through the smoke, does get the second one on the round as well. Dabisky and PD, the only two players left, and make that just a one, as Piety will be the last one in this 1v4 to try and find some value. Clock has almost ticked its way out, does at least take down Hannah, but the remaining players on the side of the Hero KDA just are not peeking. Finally, Iceling off the sound cue will be able to take down her counterpart, and the Hero KDA find a round as well.
After 6 rounds in a row, Hero KDA finally warming back up to the competition here where they needed to the most. Attacking side is one that is typically favored here statistically for a map like Fracture, but that seemingly was escaping their fortune. And looking at how, you know, the Hero KDA's defensive side typically goes here in Fracture, it's not that much more worse, but it's certainly considerably not better. And you have to wonder if this will continue on, but if you really want to talk about the numbers, interestingly enough, NYX Kyosei, that's a big pick off here, and Lulu and Strawberry Bagel, they get things going.
Yeah, you see from both sides, NYX try to kind of go for a push here, but immediately punished. Delbitsky, though, able to take out Snowkey, so at least a little bit of that damage being alleviated with that player no longer being a factor. That said, though, it's still a 3v4, and NYX, they're coming out of a very unenviable position here. No fancy flank, no control of anything, really. They have to be very careful about how they approach this. Now, a lot of utility being just thrown in the direction of this door, and it seems like there's arguably no way to really make their way through. Orbital Strike invested to root, and just like that, it will be the lineup attempt coming in. Hannah with one, Dabisky with the trade, but there's another player inside, and she finds them, and just like that, Lulu and Strawberry Bagel between them. 4 kills on the round and a 5th in total for the Hero KDA.
In the half.
Hero KDA finally waking up here. Those 2 early picks really just helped cement this round heavily further in their favor. And you never fault a team like NYX to try and attempt for the retake. I mean, they still have economy for it anyway, so why not, right? Timeout by NYX Kyosei. That orbital strike also being another kind of nail in the coffin for that final round. We move into the last one of this opening half, and ultimates here on either side could be very interestingly used. None of them kind of replicated on either side in terms of who has what, but the Hero KDA, you look at now what they've been able to do during that map number 2, and it's rounds like these where they're able to get early pickoffs and early advantages that they're been decently consistent with converting at the end.
They've been able to do that quite well, and not just converting those advantages, right? It's also just the kind of positioning that they're reading. So many times you saw that early aggression from NYX Kyosei find that value, but now they're just reading it. For example, in that last round, the kills that came through from Strawberry Bagel and Lulu just completely caught NYX off guard. They were not expecting their opponents to just be waiting for them to make a play like that. So definitely some very good adaptations towards this end of the half coming out from the hero KDA. That said, though, they have three huge AoE ults available. All three of these, it's going to just get them so much space on the site. Perhaps to counter that, you see an early push coming in towards this tower area away from Arcade. Not going to be much found, though, because the remaining players are still close to spawn, just kind of hanging around.
Pushes at the ready here, coming from Hero KDA. But they actually double back here towards that A site instead. Rotate around as they pull the defense. Can be very important on the timing. A map like Fracture, the defensive rotation is pretty quick from that spawn. So luckily, Chow here on the side. He's got lots of ability to make it difficult. Gotta keep him at bay for the meantime.
Ooh. Hunter's Fury from Con comes out, does connect, takes out Strawberry Bagel, so at least brings the numbers down with both Killjoys being taken out. No lockdown gonna be available either. Lobisky towards the top of the drop, trying to find some value. But now the rolling thunder gonna be invested towards Con here. In fact, does catch her out. Only gonna be one player affected though. So still things not looking too bad for NYX. 1-for-1 trade once again. Make that a 2-for-2. And both of the remaining players, they're just towards main. Until the spike diffuse comes in. Somebody just being able to stick it halfway through, but the spam connects. And now it is just Con trying to clutch it out. 30 HP and a dream. Still looking very healthy as Aisling. No orbital strike available, but all she has to do is find a kill, and that's exactly what will happen. 6-6 half here as both these teams, they're neck and neck. That said, though, before we head into half number 2, we still have our halftime coming up. Mika and Dax, what do you have to tell us?
I'm liking the hero KDA here. Just keep calm and collected, and somehow those rounds, they're able to close it out, right? And you mentioned that earlier as well, Dax. You know, that ability to be able to stabilize throughout these high pressure situations is what makes the hero KDA, you know, able to pull it out. That looks really positive, especially since whoever wins the series is in for a marathon.
And come on, look, we're already a 6-6 standing. We know that these two teams are neck and neck. And Mika, I'm just gonna break it down in a tale of 4 quarters. The first quarter, first 3 rounds, one up to the bonus by the hero KDA with that momentum from the previous map. Then the answer back there from NYX Kyosei, where you have someone like Kachao really stepping on up. The way that they're able to get the eliminations early on. And the next 3 rounds after that, how they're able to play their standard post plant. They're effective at the retake, they play these safer angles, get the value on. But I love that the hero KDA, they sniff that out. They realize, okay, if we can actually get that entry pick and have the numbers to have the advantage in the post plant, that's where they recovered, and that's the tale of the first half.
Wow, that's you really clutched it out there. But thank you very much, Dax, for that halftime report. We're gonna pass it on back to our casters to continue the rest of Fracture.
We really do appreciate that eloquent halftime report coming in, but halftime it's done with. We're going to be heading back into the game here, 6-6. Each team needs 7 rounds to move on, and whoever does get it first will make it to that lower final. Whoever fails, however, will be the end of the year for them for 2023 when it comes to game changers. A lot at stake here, BNB. And so far, from what we've seen of these teams, who do you think has it in the bag?
It's difficult to call. It's really difficult to call. One thing, though, we can go off of is that NYX, Kyosei are one of the few teams that have a better defensive half on Fracture than they do their attacking side. It's a 10-point disparity, actually, 10% disparity, and that's a big kind of deviation from what the norm is typically in a map like Fracture. So let's see if we can keep up this momentum here on this A side. Now as they go for the attack. Hero KDA, they give up the site and play retake.
Yeah, quick push coming in. No real opposition to be caught out for, although already the flank is coming in extra fast. Hannah and Snow together, just doing the damage. The push converges as well from the spawn side, and from every angle NYX, they just have no reprieve, being shot at and taken down. Pistol once again being convincingly taken by the hero KDA.
seems like NYX were, I'm not sure what they were waiting for. A perfect opportunity, a window, a sign before they get the plant down. They had side control to have gotten the stick down, but they don't even get that. At least it would have helped them, you know, get a bit more credits coming to this next round. But there, you can see there that sometimes NYX, they fall prey to just not having a concise plan. It's almost like, you know, a dog chasing a ball. Once they get the ball, they're like, what do we do with it now? We have the sight, but now what?
Unfortunate that they weren't able to really get that plan through. Also, the fact that everybody came down through that drop side really meant that the players in main, namely Hannah as well as Stokey, completely had free reign there. Sure, you saw a stun coming in from Delbisky to try and deny that exact outcome, but with the angles being what they were, it was just very easy for the Hero KDA to capitalize off the back of it. Now, they're going to be giving away information about a possible push here. Khan goes for the peek, but doesn't spot anybody. They know, however, that there's going to be some heavy presence on this A side off the back of the turret.
Cutting noise here now, NYX. That's going to keep the Hero KDA guessing and make the wrong guess in this case. They go towards that A site where B is really where NYX want to continue on forward now. Realizing that, hey, it might just be the B site as they flood on in. Should get the spike down this time around. And
30 seconds left.
the question is, how does this post plant hold up against the retake? Got in a difficult spot. They don't clear her out. Can't connect the shot though, unfortunately. And
Remaining.
Hero KDA, quick overrun from them, no problem at all. That's an 8th round for the defensive side.
Flawless retake to boot, just no hesitation in finding those angles. You saw a bit of discipline come out from Khan, but unfortunately not quite able to connect the shot towards the end. And once they started falling, NYX, the remaining players, fell like dominoes in a row. Just not much for the Hero KDA to really struggle at all here. This round gonna be the real test though for NYX. Finally gonna be able to buy up here, economy-wise looking a little, weaponry-wise looking a little bit ahead in this bonus round. But the Hero KDA, if they can convert this, they're going to be having those run-of-mill momentums that are just absolutely terrifying.
Well, you have to also consider the fact that if you're NYX right now, you just let such a big lead be erased. You come into these rounds right after that, don't really get much done. We can see that NYX sometimes their consistency does get called into question, so big round here for them to convert. It is an anti-bonus, but we've seen these type of rounds go disastrous for them. Really come on in now within the site. Big fight being put up by NYX, and we're luckily able to deal with and weather the storm. They find most of the picks coming their way. It's only Hannah that stands, and that's the type of round they need to get back into the game.
Yeah, just completely swept apart on site here. You do see the Hero KDA consistently trying to trade and trade again, but not able to really find the shots against the Vandal power coming out towards main. Now 1v3 here for Hannah. Very difficult clutch to really make it work out, but at least she might be able to do some damage off the back of this Marshall/Ghost combination that she's rocking. First point of contact gonna be coming out towards this A main. Aftershock to distract, goes for the site, does do quite a bit of damage, and finally Piety will get the kill. NYX, they find another round here, 7-8, but it got way too close for comfort.
I mean, initially it was looking pretty good, but then obviously some damage being done. Going to help bolster up the hopes here of the Hero KDA, who are looking to sweep in and save the day after losing that map number 1, coming back, retaliating for map number 2, and continuing that momentum into this third, where NYX suddenly in that first half built up those 6 rounds straight. It's a very streaky team these NYX Kyosei gals have proven to be. But when they can't even get that momentum under their wings, how do they build it up from the start?
Well, last round was a pretty good indication. This one might be as well. Delsby already with that first point of contact, be able to take that kill for free. Just put down the stun as well to create even more of a division. Just doing as much damage as possible. And the Hero KDA forced to kind of fall back here. They don't really want to take this fight. It's not exactly in their favor. Still a 4v5 situation. NYX maintain their advantage, and now with that kill, look to go towards this B site instead. It is going to be available for free. In fact, a quick plant coming in. Somebody
planted.
protecting that as well with that kill, although Hannah finally finds the trade here. 4v3 scenario. Piety has the orbital strike to boot, so this is a very dangerous looking post plan that's currently available for the side of NYX. Hannah has to be the difference maker here. Pushes out, finds the kill in time, and that is going to be huge. Icing starting off on the defuse. Hannah doing enough to distract, to buy some time, and now unfortunately, despite half the defuse being struck through, Pawn will be the one to win it out, and NYX, they start building up the momentum that you were talking about.
Yeah, Khan coming in big there from the flank itself, but also Hannah just making sure they can pincer down on this tower hold. She gets a 1 kill while she doesn't follow up on where they had the hold itself here from Piety. She burned enough time that Piety could not help on the site itself, and made things a lot more viable to convert the round win. Look at the hero KDA here, still struggling for these type of economy to come under their wings. Piety, she did a good job of also being alive just long enough, but orbital strike available for her now, Hunter's Fury as well. And here we move on forward as they've tied up the game.
Incredibly close here from both of these teams. They understand what's at stake. And of course, technical pause to come in to break the little bit of the ice that we're feeling as these teams get colder and colder as the day goes on. Looking at the ultimates, Piety does have the orbital strike, one off the Hunter's Fury for Khan, so definitely a lot of post plans available for NYX Kyosei. But that said, right, now they seem to have quite a bit of an overwhelming advantage. The ultimates, the weaponry, everything seems to be in their favor to really put together the kind of streak that we're used to. But that's what happened on Bind as well, if you remember. It was 10-8 at some point, Black and Blue. They had the lead, they had the advantages, and then one Thrifty, and it fell apart for them, the Hero KDA, just denying them the 2-0 victory. Now on map 3, they're positioned at a similar precipice to be able to take it forward. And the Hero KDA, slowly but surely, it's gotta be getting to them, that pressure.
Well, pressure has certainly kind of been flipped on its head now as NYX have come back and tied up the game here. Obviously as well with the fact that they're at disadvantage, so their lead could be swept away from under them, the Hero KDA, if that doesn't continue on further. But what a story these two teams are. Kind of haven't really been together for too long as a unit. Some of these players coming from different teams, various teams, really all of these players are. We know some of them from different iterations. Some of these squads, especially like NYX Kyosei, who have, I believe it's like 7 active fielded players that they can throw in here. So you always kind of wonder if which really is the best configuration, but they come into this LCQ with the same story, kind of put in as of recent to try and make something happen and make their hopes of coming into Elite still viable and a real possibility.
This might make you happy, Black and Blue. 8 players on this server, I believe, are Filipino. So this is basically just all-out war between the talents of the Philippine scene here, and only one of them will be making it forward. Now, with Sheriff's in hand, it's going to be a bit of an aggressive, proactive push coming out of the Hero KDA. Not able to find the kills, although the same can't be said for NYX there. Just persevering forward. 2 kills already for Delbisky. No damage taken at all in the process. And once again, with that patience being shown by their waiting, with them getting those openers, they're going to be able to just rotate over towards that B site. Also, the awareness towards the flank. Khan finds the kill, and immediately another pivot towards A instead.
Timing here.
One enemy
Strawberry
remaining.
Bagel, she walks out, but Kachao is just at the ready, and this almost assuredly should be the round going to NYX Kyosei. No way in hell Hannah wins this. Even with a player of her caliber, what she's done in the past, still, odds are way too ever against her favor. In multiple ways than one. And NYX Kyosei successfully get the round.
Yeah, flawless round to boot. 3 for Delvisky. Again, just the patience that they've shown the NYX squad over the last few rounds to just hold up and spawn, wait for their opponents to make a mistake, immediate punish, and then they make a call as to where they want to go. Incredible read and discipline both coming out from this team, and just the level of preparedness that they have all across the map. You could see Strawberry Bagel being taken down by Kachao, who was just lying in wait. Delvisky hunting, prowling for those remaining players, and NYX, they have the advantage once again. They have the lead and the ultimates to go with.
Nowhere to run.
Well, push coming on in here. Hunter's Fury burned up early, and they're looking to connect, but not really finding much. A site can be planted into, but you can see here the Hero KDA once again luring them in, and they're now going to try and punish now that they've put them in their kind of kill box here. Pushing on out, Sabani can't find the pickoff. She had great timing, but the shot just not landing, not connecting for her. They're pushing on back, pushing her forward. Now look at this, NYX trapping them in their own maze here towards that door, towards the sand, and a flawless converted by NYX Kyosei.
Beautifully played by them, especially towards that main. Sure, they put the smoke down. They tried to catch one of the players towards main. I believe that was somebody, but just no hope of really doing anything with that crossfire coming into play. Now, second timeout going to be used by the Hero KDA here. This is exactly where the last time around they were able to turn things around on Haven to go from this scoreline to winning the entire map. Will this timeout be enough for a second time around will be the question. They have the ultimates to work with, in particular the lockdown and that showstopper. Both can be devastating in their own ways. But NYX, they're just in so much better control of the map at this juncture. It seems like no matter which avenue the Hero KDA try to explore, NYX, they're more than prepared to just stop them in their tracks.
And how ready they have been. That's been the big thing for the Kyosei squad here. On the post-plant holds, they've fell prey to that kind of kill box routine that Hero KDA have showed a while ago when it comes to their defensive side. And yeah, NYX Kyosei still putting up a great fight. They, as we said, are a team that divergently from the norm are typically better on the defensive side in Fracture, but that doesn't seem to be necessarily affecting them here so far. They've still built up this lead and are looking on a pretty good path to extending this into an 11th round.
For sure, especially with the economy being what it is for the Hero KDA. Once again, a push through this this B main area. Hannah gonna be the one with the sheriff to try and smoke out these players. I don't think she spotted Delvisky quite yet, though the expectation is there of a player being in this corner. Does get spotted out, misses the shots though, and that's going to be her punished and taken down. Delvisky taking a little bit of damage, but honestly looking quite healthy. And once again, a quick pivot from NYX off the back of that first kill to be able to take out the site for free. Tower control garnered as well. Strawberry Bagel does have this lockdown, but I don't think we're really going to be seeing it. It's just going to be a head-to-head fight here between both of these teams.
Unfortunately there for Hannah, who've maybe found off a pick if
Can't use that yet.
a bit more luck went her way, but now it's a retake to come in here for NYX Kyosei. You have to hold off of Hazen goes down, every kill going their way, and the Hero KDA just don't have enough firepower nor man count to really pick up a big fight. Okay, double from Olululu. Bit of a consolation. Build up that Rolling Thunder all quicker, but still. Oh, okay.
Celebratory tactical crouching. It's totally not being mean or anything. Just a little bit of a happy moment. Hey, if Demon One can do it, anybody can do it at this point. That's
true.
The kind of ingrained at it. So yeah. Last ditch effort coming out of Hero KDA. Gonna be investing everything they have in their economy, including that operator, and it's gonna be a timeout coming in from NYX instead. They want to make sure that what has been working for them so far continues to work, as they are only 2 rounds away from locking in their spot in that lower final.
Well, NYX Kyosei have also been pretty on top of the situation. As you said, they're aware, they're anticipating the plans of Hero KDA, and you can see that there with them realizing that, hey, they're on an eco, they're on a lesser buy. They might go aggressive here towards B main, and let's wait it out. Let's see and feel out what their plan is. And that's exactly what happens. They wait out. Luckily for them, it's only Hannah that far up forward, so they get the free catch onto her. And the rest is history. So, operator out for Hannah. A glass cannon, as she does look armorless coming to this next round.
I always find it so funny when I see Hannah on the up because she's always playing this initiator role these days, and you just, it takes you back to the days when she used to be on that chamber on occasion. It's just so interesting. Never mind, she switched it away. Okay, Hannah, I get it. You heard us talking about it. Fine.
Yeah.
Still,
Seems like she's like, oh, let me go for the safer option here and just buy a darn rifle and armor.
it's sad, honestly. Hannah hits those shots. Like 99 out of the 100 times she takes a shot, she usually just connected. So it could have been the difference maker in that particular round. But talking about difference makers here, it's gonna be the Odin to find that opener. Kachao this time around gonna be punished for being the first one to peek, and that's something that the Hero KDA have definitely changed. They're not peeking anymore. Except off the back of this ultimate, Rolling Thunder connects, but still not able to find the kills.
Yeah, she's being wary of swinging out wildly here. Trade out by Delpsky immediately off. Stun keeping them at bay. Aisling, big pick off. Could have found another if they lined up, but it doesn't come to pass. 4v2. Somebody and Connor left alone. That Odin has already proven to be a problem here for the attacking side. And the Hero KDA using it to recapture control of the situation.
Spike's still in the hands of somebody, but like you mentioned, it seems like the Hero KDA, they are fully in control here. Beautiful shot from Khan, though, to take out Strawberry Bagel. That's going to be the killer utility taken off site as well. 30 seconds left. Seems like NYX, they want to go in for a little bit of doors play here. Maybe find another pick or two, but they're just going to walk into the embrace of Aisling here. That takes one down, finds the other, and Hannah to clean things up. 11-9 for both the teams, and the Hero KDA, they really needed to win that, and they do it in style. They keep through their weapons to boot, so hold on to their advantages for sure.
Yeah, well timed from the Rolling Thunder as well to just immediately stop the pace and momentum that NYX Kyosei were coming in quickly with, might I add, here towards that Sands, and Rolling Thunder coming in from Olulu just stops them in their tracks, resets kind of the pace of the round, and keeps things in more manageable constraints here for the Hero KDA. So now they come on in. B site is where noise has been made for NYX Kyosei, but Chow, she's got a lot to chew here.
There.
Already, Snooki going into that tower area, expects the second player, here, and Novisky on the angle, able to find that opener once again. Entry there for the side of NYX Kyosei. Now the remaining players on site. Hannah looking to find the cross, does get the trade and the kill to boot, bringing things back down to a 4v4. That was just a distraction though. The main party is still towards this particular site. Now Rolling Thunder gonna be invested. Counter lockdown as well to boot, and there's just so much available, and off the back of the Rolling Thunder, they're able to break the lockdown. So this attacker one, it's gonna have to be respected. Kachao off the back of that, able to find yet another kill, and now it is a 2v4 attempt to try and deny match point for NYX here. Lulu, despite being stunned, able to find a headshot onto Kachao, just jumping through the doors. 2v3 situation, looking to push a little bit forward. You can see Khan just playing for the time while everybody else is attempting to take that site. Flash comes through, Strawberry Bagel gonna be connected by it. Khan capitalizing to find the kill, and just like that, NYX, they get to match in series point, one away from eliminating the Hero KDA.
Yeah, nicely done from NYX, and that Rolling Thunder really bought them the space they needed to make sure that the lockdown and counteractive thrown by the defensive Hero KDA was not going to be in play in this round. And look at the buy here from the Hero KDA. Barely want to scrap up with 2 Vandals, a Stinger, 2 Buckies. Difficult position they've now been placed in. Again, the Hero KDA, who are looking pretty good coming into the tournament beforehand. Can they finally scrap themselves out of this?
It's gonna be a lot to ask for. The Whiskey once again, with the help of the fast lane, being able to slice apart these angles, letting her really take that space for free. You can see an early Prowler though, an attempt from these initiators on the side of the Hero KDA to do something. Orbital Strike now coming in on the site, but NYX, they were ready for it. The forward positioning they have is just tearing apart these players of flawless round to close things off on, and we were cynical about it. We said that Bind and Fracture, they weren't the team's best map, but 2 days in a row, they do it, and they move on in that lower bracket. NYX, Kyosei, they are undeterred here.
That's a heartbreaker of a round to lose, and a map in a series as well for the hero KDA. Unfortunately, we can only have one join and fight against Neons for that final slot in Game Changers APAC Elite, and it shall be, in this case, NYX Kyosei. Will come back from them in almost every single map to put up a great fight, but in the end of things, hero KDA just weren't able to regain control of the situation, and with the lesser buy, things just became almost way too difficult for them to convert.
Yeah, it looked possible towards the end, especially that final round, right? The awareness from NYX about that orbital strike, to have the presence of mind to push forward, and in that second half, there were so many of these moments where NYX, they just had the better read and awareness coming in. But that's gonna be it from us, at least for this particular series. Let's throw it to our panel to break it down for you.
NYX Kyosei will be advancing into our final series of the day. And Dax, I hope they're prepared for this marathon indeed. But based on those last few rounds that we saw, it looks like they're gonna end things with a bang. And it looks like they've gotten this kind of like, they've reignited in a way. Those last few rounds were very explosive indeed for the side of NYX.
Yeah, sure, Vika. You're saying that there's going to be a marathon approaching them, but it feels like their warm-up sprint has been absolutely on point and so stellar to boot. That second half was just the NYX Kyosei we have seen over the past 2 days. Just utter dominance and the executes. Strength onto the contact. And I'll put two things right now that have really thrust them to this greatness, especially with that big streak onto the attacking side. First, of course, the big step up from Kon. She's really found so much firepower and so much footing in the role that she's in right now. This is absolutely clutch and absolutely critical in every single round that we basically see her find the impact. But on the other, I really feel like as a unit, here for NYX Kyosei, they just feel so confident learning from their lessons and making adjustments along the way. Delbisky was such a key component to the success here, Mika, because back then with some body on the Neon, yes, she had familiarity, yes, she could find the impact, but this time around, they're more accustomed to Delbisky making that space for the Rex of NYX Kyosei to work with, and it does look like it is the missing piece that has finally found its fitting point and the fitting win.
It's a matter of how well the pieces fit together, right? And it seems like indeed that this the Neon on Delbisky just works so much better, and to have somebody actually on the breach, which gave quite the impact as well. But Kon again on the Sova, she does this all the time. She's so consistent when it comes to these kinds of plays, and I just feel like she's definitely one of the players that we have to highlight throughout this whole LCQ. I think that unfortunately, it is the end of the journey for the hero KDA. They started out as the favorites here in the LCQ, but unfortunately, you have teams like NYX, you have teams like MLT that are just, there's such wild cards here, and they bring such firepower. I don't think the hero KDA could prepare much for these two. But that said, though, they gave a very, very brave fight indeed, especially up against players like Kon, for example, that we can't stop talking about.
Yeah, the hero KDA, big props to them. You understand why this is a map draft. They've been so stellar in their ways and so set with it. But when it goes down to it, it's that firepower and the speed of execution that NYX Kyosei was able to take advantage of. One more thing, though. I remember the casters talking about one of the timeouts, and I felt like taken by NYX Kyosei, and I felt like it was just that mental reset round. We're in, okay guys, we're almost there again. We need to make sure no one from the hero KDA plays the hero. And it really goes to show here for NYX Kyosei, their eye was on the prize. They never let up in that second half. They were just absolutely strong as soon as they got their rifles there, Mika. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is a NYX Kyosei that can contend in Elite if they play to this level and they play well against Neons as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be the true test indeed, alright? They still have one more series to go. Congratulations to them for claiming victory over the hero KDA. Guess who's waiting at the other end? It's gonna be Neons, another roster that tends to be so explosive and so fast-paced, right? So, with that, we're gonna take a quite a bit of an extended break for this time to give NYX Kyosei a little bit of time to regroup and recover as we head into our final series for this LCQ. It's going to be NYX Kyosei versus Neons in just a few. So stay tuned to this broadcast to find out what happens in this final series.
Show me what you got. Back up, 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 back Get the